Yes, yes, yes. You are in tune too. There we go. Boxing Talk with Rafi. What are we on? What are we on? I think we're on 164. So that's Boxing Talk with Rafi 164. Damn. What the hell's going on there? What the hell's going on there? Okay. Boom. Stop that. And start this. Okay. So, where are we? Where are we at? Okay. So, on this episode, we're going to be looking into the weekend. We're going to be doing a preview on some of the weekend shows, the bigger ones. There's a couple of big ones, a couple of big headliners. Turn this music up just a little bit. And while the area is populating, or rather, let me state the big question. The big question, the main topic will be, we'll be asking a question. It's a question. And the question is, which is the better quality win? Is it Fury over Wilder, or is it Joshua over Povetkin? Okay. And while people are populating, let me, what am I going to do? I'm going to hit you up with a warm in video. Where's that thing? Where's that thing? Where does it say warm in video? I know I've got a Where's the warm in video thing? Oh, there it is. It's right in front of me. Okay, well, before I put that up. Okay, we got the Sosa. Joshua over Povetkin. We got the Sosa with the smiley face. Is the crying face. I don't know why the Sosa's crying. Why are you crying, Sosa? Anyway, I'll give you time to make up your mind while I select the warming video. Let me do that now as we speak. Allow the area to populate. Which one am I going to go with? I know exactly which one I'm going to go with. I could change my mind. Let me have a look. This is the warming video to allow people to populate the area. And I'm undecided. But I think I know which way we're going to go. Okay, let me bring this one up. Yes. It's Raphael Dawkins with the Comeback Radio. Okay, and it has been selected. So let's stop sharing. Let's stop sharing that and start sharing this. Okay, so how's it looking? Over there on your screen? Okay, it looks fine. I think it will look even better. A little better now. Yes. And let's notify the people what they're watching. It's the warming video. Okay. Let's go full screen on that. Okay. So enjoy the warming video, which will allow the area to populate. And enjoy this for around 5 minutes, and then we get into it. Okay. But in the meantime, enjoy this. Let's get the volume right. Okay, and let's go. And today, it's all about billions. Well, actually, it's more like $130,000. But if you're all about billions, then it shouldn't be a problem, right? Or wrong. Okay, let's get into it. Adrian Broner sentenced to 7 days in jail for a probation violation. And that's only the tip of the iceberg, because if Broner don't get this shiznick sorted out quick, then he's going to be spending more time potentially in jail. And he's going to be $830,000 short. $830,000 short if he don't get his act together. Okay, so according to Cleveland.com, a judge in Cleveland has sentenced former 4-division world champion. This doesn't highlight. That's too much. Adrian Broner, 7 days in jail after ruling that he violated probation in 2018 in a case which he was accused of sexually assaulting a woman at a nightclub. I'm not laughing at sexual assault. I'm just laughing, well, I kind of am. I'm laughing at the absurdity of it. You know, what is sexual assault? That probably constitutes making some kind of move on a lady that has not given you her consent. And what I find so laughable about it is all you have to do to avoid that is find a woman who does give you consent. And it ain't that hard, especially if you probably got a Lamborghini outside. So I have to laugh at the idiocy, at the foolishness of not obtaining the proper consent before such an act. It's utterly unnecessary. It's foolish. All you gotta do is get consent, get the okay, and then you're okay. So it's utter madness. Okay, especially it always is, but especially when you got something to lose, some things to lose, like 800,000. Unbelievable. You're gonna put yourself in that kind of position. It's just so damn foolish. Idiocy. I call it idiocy. Okay. So Judge Sherry Midday ruled on Wednesday that she hoped the sentence would be a wake-up call to the 31-year-old fighter after he was arrested in Miami in March for driving while intoxicated. Deputies escorted Broner out of the Midday's courtroom to a jail cell. Unbelievable about billions. Okay, so back in November 2018, Broner faced numerous charges after a 35-year-old woman accused him of sexually assaulting her in a nightclub in Cleveland's Warehouse District neighborhood during the 2018 NBA Finals. In April 2019, Broner pleaded guilty to assault and unlawful restraint, both misdemeanors. He was given 2 years probation. Broner told the judge that he was struggling due to a recent breakup with his wife and needed professional counseling. The woman who accused Broner of sexual assault also sued him in civil court because he never hired a lawyer and ignored the lawsuit. Common Pleas Judge Nancy Margaret Russo issued the default judgment in December, ordering Broner to pay the woman $830,000. When was this? 2019. Okay. The woman's lawyers filed a motion earlier this month accusing Broner of not responding to documents requests and failing to show up for a scheduled deposition in that case. The judge has now given Broner 28 days to respond to the motion, or she will consider ordering sanctions. Broner, 33, 4-1, has been out of the ring since January 2019, when he lost the 12-round unanimous decision to Manny Pacquiao. 2019, 2020, where are we now? The 9th month, the 8th month, going into the 9th month of 2020. That's crazy. So that's what, 20 months? 20 months after the ring. Crazy. Madness. Could have paid a girl for a lap dance. He could have paid a lady to go out to dinner. Wreck her off $100, $200 to go to dinner. You could have paid a lady for a foot massage. There are so many things you could have done
contractually. Yeah. You pay a girl lady for a foot massage in a foot massage place, or you pay a lady for a lap dance in a lap dance place. That's all contractual. You should have got a contract. You should have got a contract. That night could have cost you what? $500. And if you wanted to go crazy, that night could have cost you $1,000. All contractual arrangements, contractual agreements. You could have done that. You could have spent $1 on contractual agreements and saved yourself $829,000. All about billions. You might need billions to keep these piranhas off you. You're a rich man. You got to move intelligently. Get things in writing if necessary. If you want to avoid paying out $830,000. You're just not moving smart at all, my friend. Just not moving smart. You're gonna need them dollars, billions. All about billions. Yeah, you're gonna need all of them billions to pay off the people. You're gonna have to pay off because you're not moving smart. What do they say? They say you didn't. How does it say that? Says he never hired a lawyer and ignored the lawsuit. So the Common Pleas Court judge, Nancy Margaret, issued a default judgment. That means, boom, you're not there. Okay, we just go to the default. There you go, £830,000. Yeah, pay that by Friday. OMG. You pay a heavy price for stupidity in this life, especially if you've got the funds to pay. And yeah, I don't know if some computer guy from Silicon Valley, I don't know if he was in the dock. They'd have been looking to dock him $830,000. Was a computer guy saying, "Man, I have no idea what this lady is talking about." But she looked at you and she said, probably saw you rubbing your hands, and says, "Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe that. Yeah, I didn't pay $1 million. No, I didn't pay $800,000. Yeah, you gotta move smarter than that when you're all about billions. You can't make those dumb moves. You have to stay one step ahead of the game, not 2 steps behind the game. What the hell were you thinking? Didn't even hire a lawyer. That's beyond stupid, my friend. That's beyond stupid. That's why the judge, what's her name, Nancy? That's why Nancy spanked you. Nancy Margaret Musso. That's why she spanked you. Might be Paulie Magliani's aunt or something like that. You never know. You never can tell. So what say you? It's the Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comments, it's the shares. And it's all about billions. Looking to suck a billion. Looking to suck a billion out of it. He's just not moving smart. Never hired a lawyer. OMG. It's Raphael Dawkins, the Combat Radio. Try not to be silly out there. OMG. Damn. It's the like, damn. Subscribe. All about billions. All about billions. All about billions. It's all about madness. It's all about utter, complete, and utter madness. It's madness, I tell you. Okay. So first things first, let's get the music back. There it is. There it is. Okay. And let's go back over into the chat. Warm-up video is over. Let me acknowledge the people up in here. Let me get my devices synchronized. Is the volume down on this? Yes. Okay, load up. Boom. We're good. We're good to the left. And we are... The two Jameses are going at it. The two Jameses are going at it. Order, gentlemen. Order. Order in the Combat Radio.
Okay, so let me modify my screen just a little bit. But am I ready for camera time? Yes. I'm ready for camera time. Okay, let's can we adjust this shiznix? Okay. Let me look into my eyes. Okay. Wrong eye. Okay. Everything's nice and sweet and correct. Rafi just woke up from a nap, came back from work, managed to squeeze an hour in, and then had to post this thing up on social media. Let everybody know. Okay. Well, I do not like this. There's something I don't like about this whatsoever. Well, okay. Not centralized. Is that better? Yeah, I think so. I'm leaning to that side. Leaning to this side, that side. Okay. So where are we? Let's get straight into the chat. And okay. Just a reminder, everybody. The last two lives ago, and then 3 lives ago, I'd adjusted my settings on my computer. I'd adjusted my audio settings for a reason. Non-live chat related. And then I forgot to reset it for the live show. So a couple of shows ago, I think the Xavier Miller show, and maybe that was one, and the one before that, maybe the music was a tad high. Maybe the music was a tad high, but I didn't realize. So that's my bad. But it's still okay. In the 5-hour show, music was a tad high then because I'd adjusted the audio settings. So if anybody in the chat ever gets the feeling that the sound is off somehow or something is off somehow, I'd appreciate it if you just let the Rafi know. Just let the Rafi know. So if I miss it and you catch it, I can rectify it. Okay? So that's just a heads up. The old timers should know that. You recent guys, maybe I didn't pass on that message. So it's my bad. My bad anyway. But that's just a little heads up. If anything, the sound quality seems off, just let me know. Let the Rafi know. It's all good. Okay. Still trying to find. Oh, that looks better. I like the set. I like the way. Yeah. That looks better. Way better. Okay. Let's get into the chat. You know what the topics are. We're going to look at the weekend. We're going to do a weekend preview. There's some fights on the weekend that you ought to know about. If you don't know about, then I shall let you know. I'm going to chop that up a little bit. And but the main question is, who has the better quality win? Which was the better quality win? Which was the better quality win? Was it Fury over Wilder, or was it Joshua over Povetkin? Okay, we're going to talk about that shortly. But first things first, let's get into the chat. Okay, so DJ Georgie Porgy. Oh, is the link in the chat? Is the link in the chat? How rude of me. Let me do that now. Boom. Okay, let me scroll down to the bottom. Let me see if things have gone totally crazy. No? Is order restored? His order is who's the third James? Are there 3 Jameses? I thought there were 2 Jameses. Is there 3 Jameses? Fury. Okay. We got some opinions coming in. The sound sounds good. My mic sounds nice. Okay. My mic sounds nice. Where are we? James. I remember back in the day, there was a band called Tony. I do remember that. Let me go and check my settings. Let me see how things look. Over. As a matter of fact, let's stop sharing that for one. So that's boom. Okay. And let me start sharing something else to get the screen nice. Make it look nice. What's this here? Is that it? Okay, that's it. That's it. Okay, the sound sounds good. So let's go through this. Where are we? Okay, definitely a debatable topic. Definitely a debatable top subject. Looking forward to seeing this one. Yes, yes, yes. The prudent man, that was DJ Georgie Porgy. The prudent man is up in the building. Joshua's win is better. However, Fury's win looks better for the casual fan, for the more casual fan. Don't get me wrong, we got no problem with casuals over here. You know, casuals are the ones that move the sport and move the needle. So much respect to all the casuals out there. Okay, let's do this. Sosa says Joshua over Povetkin, and he's crying when he does it. Emotional man. Okay, James Jameson up in the building. Joshua versus Povetkin. Higher standard fight. Higher standard of fight. Higher caliber. Do you mean caliber? Is caliber? Would caliber be another word for standard? Higher caliber? Yeah, that's a damn good question. That's a damn good question. A damn good point. Higher caliber. Which one is the higher caliber? Which one's the better quality? Higher caliber, quality. Damn, could go into semantics on this one. Who's this here? James, the Furyite. James, the self-confessed Furyite, says the Fury win was way better. Than the AJ win. Fury dominated, whereas AJ did not. You're missing the point, James. Well, partially you're missing the point. Hit the link, James. Hit the link. I want to speak to a Furyite. We need a Furyite up in here, or a Wildette. Or better still, we could do with a Furyite and a Wildette. But come on, mate. We're going to be chopping it up regardless. Okay. Plus, the fish was better. What do you mean the fish was better? You talking about the restaurant? They had fresh salmon in the restaurant. The finish was better. The finish was better. The finish. Hold on, James. You're a Furyite. You're not telling me the best finish was the Joshua versus Povetkin fight. That one had the best finish. So which side? Oh, the finish, yeah. So which side of the fence are you on, James? Because you said you thought the Fury fight was better, but then you say the finish was better. And I can only assume the better finish was certainly the Joshua versus Povetkin. Surely. Okay. So what's going on here? If I take that off, do people see the topic? I'm sure people see the topic. That's why they clicked on. Maybe some people would have clicked on anyway. The Raphael Dawkins radio, combat radio crew up in the building. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whichever territory you are in. Okay. What's going on here? James Jameson says, James, Fury fought a bomb. Wilder is a disgrace, an utter sham of a career. Okay, well, utter sham of a career. Yeah, I mean, that's a strong point. Who's going to argue against that? Okay, James, let me just get back on that. Okay, come out of that. Go into this. Let me see what's going on. Sham of a career. Yeah, I mean, that's a strong point. Who's going to argue against that? Okay, so I think my sound is as stated. My sound sounds nice. My mic sounds nice, but let's just make sure. Okay, come out of that. Go into this. Let me see what's going on. Sham of a career. Yeah, I mean, that's a strong point. Who's going to argue against that? Okay, so I think the link. I want to speak to a
Okay.
Furiate. We need a
Okay.
Furiate up in here.
Okay, that sounds good, but it also tells me that the music could do with being a tad, a little bit higher. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. Okay, I think that should be good. I think that should be good. But still, nonetheless, always good to be circumspect. So let me just go over and listen to it, the levels. Go ahead. Okay. Okay. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. A little bit higher. Okay, I think that should be good. I think. Yeah, that's perfect. Be good, but still. Okay. Nonetheless. Boom. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Right. 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 Where are we? Where are? Hold on. We got people talking backstage. We got people talking in another area. Jump in, mofo. Jump in. Jump in. We are. Jump in. We are live. Let me just drop the link over there. Let me just drop the link over there. You know, how people can be a little bit lazy. We copy that. Drop it in over there. If this fella wants to jump in, boom, boom, boom. Okay, there's a StreamYard link. Maybe I should do this more often. Maybe if people can see the link, bam, right in front of them, they'll be more inclined to not be shy or be less shy. Is there anywhere else I need to drop it? I've dropped it there. I've dropped it there. Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that. Now we're looking over there. Okay, we're looking nice and sweet and decent. Okay, so James Jameson says, James, Fury fought a bum. Wilder is a disgrace, an utter sham of a career. It's a strong point. It's a strong point, James. A strong point, folks. Anybody refute that? Anybody refuting that? Anybody refuting that? Jump on in. Jump on in. Do your counteraction. Do your counter. What's the counter? What's the counter to that? 5 years of being champ is not a sham. Oh, James, you need to jump on, my friend. You need to jump on. You need to jump on, lad. You need to jump on. Let me put that link in the chat again. Do I address this now or do I come back to it? Do I address this now or do I come back to it? I don't know. It's better if you jump in and we can discuss it. Okay. So, James don't know how to play chess. James, you don't just jump out the window like that when you're playing chess, my friend. You take your time, you move your pawns, you move your king, you move your castles, your bishop. Yeah, you just jumped out the window. You just jumped out the window. You don't jump out the window when you're playing chess, James. There's two Jameses, so it's kind of confusing. I'm talking about one name, James. The other James got two names. One name, James. You are a sham, James Jameson, for saying that. Absolutely not. It's a debate. It's a debate. You don't throw your king out the window like that. You move your pawns first. You move your bishop. You move your knight. You move your castles. Come on now. But you just put your king right out there, exposed. You just exposed your king, James. One name, James. This is a damn good debate in the chat itself. I don't even need to add nothing right now. I don't even need to add nothing right now. This damn debate's fire, and I haven't even chipped in yet. The debate's already fire. Okay. So where are we? Where are we? James, when Ortiz twice, when Ortiz two-time Ortiz is your biggest fight. Yes, it is. Most protected paper champ in the history of boxing. OMG. The two Jameses, The two Jameses are bringing it. I'm just reading it. I'm just sitting here reading it. I should have this on Kindle. These guys should write a book. I'd read it. I'd buy it. It don't matter who you fight. Wilder was champ, but White will never be the... This is funny. This is funny. Wilder was champ, but James, I think I'm going to have to step in here and say something. But James, one name, James. Fury James. I'm going to call you James Fury. James Fury. Because you're Fury-eyed. So that's cool. That's cool. It takes many different types to make a community. And James is a self-confessed Fury-eyed, and that's cool. What's going on here? But one name, James Fury. James Fury. Do you not see there's different levels? There's different levels to this shiznix. There's different levels to this shiznix, my friend. So if a champion is a champion, but he's fighting pretty much the weakest, some of the weakest opponents out there, then you see there's different levels, there's different standards. There's even different levels and standards of lineal. Like, for example, if a guy becomes lineal for one fight and then retires when he shouldn't have been fighting in the ring anyway because he was on a drug ban or should have been on a drug ban, and that's a weak level of lineal. You understand that, don't you? That's a weak level of lineal in comparison to another man. Let's say Lennox Lewis was fighting the best of his day and beating them one after the other, after the other, after the other. Not just fighting one guy, a top guy, when he shouldn't have been in the ring. He should have been on a drug ban at that time and then retiring because he's trying to run away from his drug ban, which he gets retrospectively anyway. So his holiday period was actually a drug ban period, 2-year drug ban period, 2.5 year. Okay, because they imposed a drug ban on that retrospectively when he came back. So that's a weak level of lineal. So there's different levels to everything. There's different levels to champions. There's different levels to lineal. There's different levels to everything. Different levels, different quality. You know what I'm saying? You can buy an item of inferior quality, which probably is not going to last as long, not going to perform as well, or you could buy a product of superior quality, probably going to last longer, probably going to function better functionality. Okay. ERF Boxing up in the building. I won't be surprised if you're at work right now, Eric. I know you work the night shift. Good of you to stop by. Good of James to stop by. Good of James Jameson's to stop by. Who else we got? The Prudent Man. DJ, Georgie Porgy. Everybody up in here, smash that like button. We're just warming in. We're warming in. We're getting warm. Rafi's getting warm now. The drums are getting to me. Give me the right vibe. Okay. Freddie Mars up in the building. James Jameson comes back with, actually, James, there are rankings for a reason. There are rankings for a reason. Where are we? There are rankings for a reason. Name Wilder's top 10 opponents. Just one top 10. Just one top 10. We'll make it two. Make it two. Name two. Name his two best wins. Name Wilder's 2 best wins. That's a good question. That's a very good question. James Fury writes, it doesn't matter about rankings when you're the champ. James, you're killing me, bro. You're killing me. Coming up with some nice little retorts. I don't know if they're going to stand up to deep scrutiny, but nice retorts nonetheless. James double barrel. He doubles up. He's doubling up on his comment. The rankings are there so people can fight the champ of that ranking body. Yeah, but don't the champ have an obligation to fight the highest ranking guys? And I'm afraid that's something we've not seen out of Deontay Wilder. I'm afraid to say that. You know, it's just something we have not seen out of Wilder. We ain't seen it. Does this make any difference whatsoever? Any difference whatsoever? Maybe a tad. Maybe a tad. Okay. Where are we? Someone has just been very kind. Who was it? Dame James Jameson, lineal boxing chat champ, lineage back to Eric Carpenter. OMG. And that reminds me, I've got my lineal super chat back. I've got my lineal super chat back. You know, Rafi didn't fill out the form properly. I mean, well, he left out a question. He was asking me for a PIN number. I didn't know where the damn PIN number was, and I had to read the whole entire super chat thing to find out what the hell they were talking about. And apparently they send you this PIN number to your home address, kind of like a bank. And you have to tell them what the PIN number was. But I couldn't remember what the PIN number was. Where is it? I didn't even remember receiving it. But they assured me they would have sent it. So then, damn, I had to go through my filing cabinet. I had to go into the what do you call it? The cellar of the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio cellar. And I had to look. I had to search through the filing cabinet to find out the damn PIN number. Found it unbelievably quickly when I actually got around to looking for it. It was like at the top of the filing cabinet, and posted it in. And the next day, everything was cool and the gang. Everything was cool in the gang. So it could have been a long process. I was dreading not having the correct paperwork, but you know, seek and ye shall find. Seek and ye shall find. I'm a big believer in that. And James Jameson comes through yet again. But remember, folks, it could be as simple as a cup of tea. Remember, a cup of tea costs £1. A cup of coffee costs £2. That's £2, dollar or euro. Anything above that, hey, that's just super duper to me. Okay, so much appreciation. And much appreciation to everybody who has dropped a like, everybody who has hit the subscribe, everybody who has hit the share. Yes. Where are we now? Boom, boom, boom. Much appreciation and much respect. Where's the link? Let me make sure the link is in the chat for everybody. You know, the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio is for everybody. Combat sports lovers, come hither. You know, and the Wild Soul up in the building, other side of the pond, but big supporter of the channel, even though we're on the other sides of the pond and perhaps the other side of the spectrum, boxing wise. But it don't stop the Wild Soul from coming in and participating, adding his contribution. And yeah, that's what we like. Divergent opinions, but still we gather over here, the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, and yeah, we enjoy our boxing chat. Okay, so let's get back into this thing. Let's get back into. I think the whole debate's happening in the chat. It's like I feel like I don't even have to contribute, but I shall. I will give you my opinion. I think I'm giving my opinion as we go along. And if anybody jumps in, they can give their opinion too. You know, it's open. You know, the link is open for people to jump on in and give their feelings, their thoughts and observations. Okay, so the rankings are there. So that people can fight the champ, but the rankings are also there so that the champ can fight the top guy. And it's something that Deontay Wilder has used the rankings to figure out who's the top guys and avoid him. When is Deontay Wilder ever fought the top guy, the number one guy? Does he do that? Or does he skirt that? Does he skirt around that? I suggest to you he skirts around that. Deontay Wilder has always been shy about fighting the top guy. And that's why his resume is arguably highly unimpressive. Highly unimpressive. Okay, so strong words here. Strong words being said. Strong words being said here. What's the point of the ranking system if you just... I'm going to pack up and go home. You don't need me anymore. You guys don't need me anymore. You're doing it. You're doing it yourselves. You're killing it. You're killing it. What's the point of the ranking system if you're just going to ignore it? Wilder, paper champ. Come on, those are strong words. And, you know, I have to say, I mean, he's not. Those words are not without basis or foundation. They are not without basis or foundation. They're strong words, and I find them to be not devoid of accuracy. They are not devoid of accuracy. Father Finton Stack comes in with a 10. Got the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. You see, guys, I keep on telling you, hey, I'll be happy with $1. I'll be happy with the euro. I'll be happy with a pound. You know, I'll be happy with a cup of tea. I'll be happy with a coffee. But if you guys are kicking in, you know, it's very much appreciated. It is very much appreciated. It tells me that you're enjoying the show. You're enjoying the product, and it shows your appreciation. And that's much appreciated by me. Much appreciated by me. I'm going to keep dropping the link in the chat. I don't want anybody to say that Rafi didn't drop the link. So, boom. Okay. So, where was that point? That was a very good point. That was a very good point made by James Jameson. It's a very good point. Where is it? I'm looking for it. What's the point of James Jameson? OMG. Yeah, what's the point of the ranking system? What's the point of the ranking system if you're just going to ignore it? 100%. Wilder paper champ. Damn. Yeah. He says, James, name Wilder's top 10 opponents. Just two. Is that checkmate? James says not at all. James, come on in. Let's have a laugh. I can go back to my arguments. Of when you're the champ, you're the best. What does this say? What is that? What is this? Is somebody commenting on the... What is this? Anthony Joshua. Oh, it's a comment I made in somewhere else. It's comedy piece. Okay, so let's stick on the topic. That was a different topic. I was looking at something different. Where are we? I'll check till you name. Oh, it's in check until you name Wilder's top 10 opponents. Well, just name two. Jeffrey DeRuzan is over here from, I don't know, what did you say, Louisiana? Is it Louisiana or Mississippi? Somewhere like that. They've been hit by the flood. Jeffrey DeRuzan, they've been hit by the floods over there. I don't know, there's been some heavy winds. Rafi hasn't been in contact. Rafi hasn't been keeping up with the news. Rafi's back to work now. And, yeah, the kind of my timetable's all messed up now. So I haven't been keeping in contact with the news. I know some things are going down over there in the USA. I know you had some flooding or something like that. I don't know. But I know that some people are out of their homes with flood damage. And I think Jeffrey DeRuzan, you are one. Staying in a hotel now, living out in a suitcase. I hope things get better over there for you sooner rather than later, Jeffrey. But it's definitely hope things work out over there sooner rather than later. But definitely great to have you spend some time to come over here and enjoy the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio atmosphere, the vibe, the comments, the comment section, the topics. Okay, we're killing it over here. We're killing it over here with the topics. Friendly banter. Absolutely. Absolutely. Friendly banter. I like that. That's what we like over here. Okay. When do I drop the hammer? Do I drop the hammer now, or do I wait for somebody to come in and then drop the hammer? I'm gonna have to drop the hammer at some point. I'm gonna have to drop the hammer at some point. Where are we? What's I'm still right. And James knows it though. Steve Bunce always gets the sound right. Just saying. Yo, Steve Bunce has got a battalion. He's got a battalion of people tweaking and turning knobs in the background, pushing up levels, bringing down levels in the background. You know, the Raphael Dawkins is doing it all. He's doing this shiznix on his ones and doing it well. You know what I mean? Look at the screen. Look at the screen. Look at the adornment. Look at the setup. Listen to the sound. You know what I'm saying? This is a one-man thing. You know, people come in, people jump in, and people contribute. So it's not really a one-man thing at all. No, that's not true. Technically, on the technical side, it's one man doing all the technical stuff. Yes, but you know, this thing is a collective. It's a group. It's a group. We like to punt each other across the field and then shake hands after. That's how we do it over here. Punch you across the field and then shake hands after. Yes. Okay. Father Jack Hackett says it sounds good. Much appreciation. Where are we? Another James. OMG. Damn. What is this? King James III, the second, or I don't know. We got James the first, we got the second, and now we got James the third. OMG. This is redonkulous. The link is there. Another James. Come on. This is ridiculous. I hope that yeah. Okay. Wilder's entire career is smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. Freddie Mars said with question. Remember what the question is, folks. Which is the better quality win? Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin? That's the contentious point. And remember, we're also going to be doing a little preview of the weekend's fights. But this one, I was going to do this second and that first. But the jury have decided that this had to go first. We had to go first with this question. Which is the better quality win? Wilder over, what is it? Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin? Okay, that's the contentious point. ERF, who said what? Yeah, Freddie Mars said AJ in his humble opinion. ERF Boxing, Eric says Fury over Wilder because no one expected that outcome, meaning the stoppage. AJ win was expected by most fans, but Povetkin is a better opponent. Okay, so we've hit the nerve there. And we got to the point. We've got to the point several times where we get to a very pertinent point right here. There's a number of good observations which I'm going to touch on. Very good post. A very good post amongst other very good posts. But there's certainly certain points I want to touch on this one. Okay. So, hold on. I'm going to lose that place if I move. Okay. So, right. It says Eric says Fury over Wilder because no one expected the outcome. Well, interesting fact. At that time when they were making this fight, the Fury versus Wilder fight, the Wilder versus Fury one, I was actually over at TBV. I was over there at TBV. I was hosting over there, co-hosting over there at TB. Was I? Or did I call in? Something like that. Anyway, I was on the line. at the time, and I said, well, because I bought a ticket to go to that show. I didn't end up going. I had to sell the ticket because the undercard was crap. And I looked at the map, and it just wasn't right. You had to travel. It was in California, you had to travel or LA, you had to travel into the central parts. No, forget it. And then the undercard was crap. So I said, no. Sold the ticket. But at this time, I said, well, I was talking to the panel live, and I said, well, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna come. I'm tempted. And it says, why? Do you think something? Why? Do you think there's gonna be upsetting? I said, something's in the air. They said, do you think there's gonna be? I said, something's in the air. I don't know what's gonna happen, but something's in the air. Something is compelling me. Something is compelling me to go. Hold on, I'm talking about Fury Wilder 1. So I wouldn't have seen a knockout anyway. So it's a good thing I didn't go. Anyway, yeah, I'm talking about Fury Wilder 1. I said, yeah, there's something in the air. Fury over. Okay, so I have to disagree with you there, Eric, because after the first fight, I think, did most people not expect Fury to win the second fight? I certainly expected Fury to win the second fight. Did I expect him to stop it? No. Okay, so you're right there. I didn't expect him to finish him so early. Maybe stop him later. But no, you're right. The thought was if the fight gets stopped, if the second fight gets stopped, T White up in the building. And link is in the chat as well. Boom, boom, boom. So, Fury. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting Fury to knock him out the second time around. But I certainly expecting Fury to win. No one expected that outcome. Okay, the outcome of stoppage. No one expected the stoppage. Okay, maybe no one expected the stoppage, but for sure, everybody or most people expected Fury to win. Certainly, most people, I think. But the stoppage, yeah, okay, yeah. You say the stoppage, you specify the stoppage, fine. I understand. AJ's win was expected by most fans, but Povetkin is a better opponent. And that's my point. Povetkin is Povetkin a better opponent, a higher caliber? Is Povetkin a higher caliber of fighter than Deontay Wilder? That's the point. Is Povetkin a better caliber of fighter than Deontay Wilder? And I say yes. He's a better caliber of boxer than Deontay Wilder. So therefore, we have to come back to the question. What is the question? Which is the better quality win? Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin? And you see where I'm leaning. Povetkin is a better caliber of fight. Is Povetkin a better caliber of boxer than Deontay Wilder? Is he a better caliber? Is he a higher caliber? Even though Deontay Wilder was champion, WBC champion, was he champion or champion duck? Was he a champion or champion duck? OMG. Link is in the chat. The link is in the chat, people. Can't say I denied you. Can't say I closed the door on you. And let's just refresh ourselves, refresh our memories of the ladies or the gentlemen in this case, the gentlemen who have been so kind to donate. We got James Jameson, Raphael Dawkins, lineal boxing chat champion. Lineage going back all the way to Harry Carpenter. OMG. While Soul, James is right on the Mo 9. Much appreciation to James Jameson. Wild Soul over there, I think in New York. And Father Ted. Father Finton Stack. I don't know. Is that an Irish name or is that my Australian friend? And then from the Fight Doctor himself, link in the chat, peeps. Smash that like button. Much appreciation to T White, the Fight Doctor, to you and me. Okay, damn, we even got Reverend Pickles up in the building to offer his blessings. We got Reverend Pickled up in the building to offer his blessings. Okay, so let me get back into this thing. Oh, have I missed anything? Okay, I'm way behind on the chat, but trust me, I will catch up. So you know my position. You know my position. Let's go, let's go, let's go. What's going on here? What's going on here? What was that? Okay. Links there. Yeah, read that one. Hard call. This is Father Jack Hackett. It's a hard call. Povetkin v. Joshua for me, though. Yes, yes, yes. When I mentioned this backstage, there were some people who were saying it's a no-brainer. It's this, it's that. But hey, it's a tough call. You gotta use your brain cells for this one. You gotta use your brain cells for this one. I'm a casual, but with historical boxing knowledge, Instagram boxer. Just twist my melon. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with casuals, mate. As far as I'm concerned, everybody's a casual in some kind of way. As far as I'm concerned, and that's cool. That's good. Casuals run the drive, the sport. Think Wilder win just edges it due to the 5-year reign. Was it a 5-year reign? Was it a 5-year reign of terror? Yeah, let's talk about the 5-year reign. Let's talk about the so-called 5-year reign. Was it a reign of terror or was it a reign of disgrace? Okay, you got me in the mood now. You gone and got Rafi in the mood now. Okay, I put it to you. I put it to all parties assembled. All parties assembled. I put it to you that it was not a 5-year reign of terror. Deontay Wilder's 5-year reign was one of disgrace. It was a 5-year reign of disgrace. Who was he fighting? The likes of Duapas, the likes of Stavern 2, the most dreadful, the most hideous. I mean, I think he should have been banned from there's an argument to say that he should have been banned for the sport for fighting Stavern the second time around. I think that everybody involved in the sport who had a hand in setting up that fight, I think they might as well. I think they should bow their heads in disgrace and just leave back. Justify Wilder versus Stavern 2. As a matter of fact, you got me curious now. What was the date of that fight? I need to know. I'm scrolling across the bar here. Too many windows open, as per usual. But it's strange how the one window that I want, I can't see. How does that make any sense whatsoever? I want to leave that. I want to come out of that. How does that make any sense whatsoever? Okay, let's have a look. Let's have a look when Wilder fought Stavern the second time. Let's check that out. Yeah, let's have a look. Let's go. Okay, boom. Okay, Brazil, Luis Ortiz, Bermain. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to share this. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to share this. It's too funny. Where is it? Who is it? Okay. Let me share this madness. With you. So you can see for yourselves one of the most disgraceful events in modern day, in latter day heavyweight boxing. Where is it? Okay. Here's the culprit. Here is the culprit. Can you even see that? Am I even sharing that? No, I'm not even sharing that. Am I sharing that? Yeah, I'm sharing that. Okay, cool. All right, so there's the culprit of one of the biggest crimes in modern day and recent times in heavyweight boxing. He is one of the culprits, one of the players. You see there's the mugshot. You see his mugshot right there. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's make this a tad bigger so you can see even better. Okay, boom. There you see him there, right? Now you see him. All right. Now let's scroll down a little bit. Let's have a look at the crimes and misdemeanors. Okay. Tyson Fury, fine. Second time around, fine. Luis Ortiz, second time around, unacceptable. That when was that? That was the 11th month, the 23rd day, 11th month of 2019. Nah. Why was he fighting Luis Ortiz? Nah. Bad form. Second time around, no. First time, cool. There was other people waiting. Could have been looking at fighting Joshua. Could have been looking at fighting Dillian White. Dominic Breezel should have been fighting Dillian White at that time. What's the date there? What is that? The 5th month? No, it's got to be the 5th month. The 18th day of 2019. Okay. So what is this here? Tyson Fury the first time. Okay, that's fine. But really, you should have been fighting Dillian White then anyway. But okay, you fought Tyson Fury. He's just got off the couch about what, 11 months, 8 months prior to that, whatever. Okay, fine. Luis Ortiz won, fine. Bermain Stavern the second time. What a total and utter disgrace. One of the biggest crimes and misdemeanors which took place on the, what is that, the 11th? Is the 11th month? Americans do it, they're different, don't they? The month is a different place. So what month is there? Okay. Oh, the 11th month, the 4th day, 2017. 2017, almost 3 years ago. Look how long this nonsense has been carrying on. Bermain Stavern. Remember when he got that highlight knockout on the first round? Like that was something. Oh, it was whooping and hollering. All the whooping and hollering for such a disgraceful situation. One of the biggest crimes and misdemeanors. I just heard a pop. That means somebody's in here. OMG. EJ Boxing.
Yes, Rafi. Yes. I see you steady roasting Wilder again. You're back at it again. Innit? Can't help yourself, innit? Huh? You having yourself some fun. It's weird though, because Dillian's just lost, yeah, and you'd think you'd be crying over that, but like no, you're getting a Wilder's got a rematch with Fury. So, but let's continue.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go through this little list here, and then I'm gonna come back to you, EJ. But it's good to have you up in here. So I'm just gonna go through this list right here, and then I'll get right back to you. As a matter of fact, let's make this thing. Let's. What am I sharing? Let me share this and let me make it bigger. Boom. How does it look on the other end over there? Okay, looks good. Okay, so I think you can see it. So let's do this. Okay, so Bermain Stavern. Was that the first time or the second time? Bermain Stavern, the second time. There it is. Almost 3 years ago. 2 years and what, 10 months? 11 months? Something like that. 2 years and 10 months ago. It just seemed like yesterday when he was wasting time fighting Bermain Stavern the second time. Okay, so let's look at Bermain Stavern. Okay, so the first fight, fine, that was legitimate. Many people say that was the first time Bermain Stavern, that was the first time Deontay Wilder stepped up. First time he stepped up to top 10 opposition, and in the form of Bermain Stavern. There's his mugshot. If you see him anywhere, he's not armed and he's not dangerous. Okay, so where are we? Right, so there he is. There he is. The first time, the second time he fought Wilder. There's the first time. What is that? The 17th of January 2015. So we're looking what? Damn. We're looking at 5.5 years ago. Over 5.5 years ago, that was the first time around. And in between that, remember, that's January 2015. At the end, when he loses, unanimous decision to Wilder. So Wilder gets his championship. Wilder gets his crown. Remember, Stavern fought for the vacant championship against Chris Arreola. There he is, Chris Arreola. Okay, so Fights Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder wins by unanimous decision. 2015, January 2015, and then in November 2015, he fights Derek Rossi. Derek Rossi at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino. Okay, fine. Wins that unanimous decision. And then in the November of 2017. So where's that? 2 damn years later. 2 damn years later, he fights Deontay Wilder again. Remember, by this time, he's out of the rankings. Everybody's forgot about him. He ain't done nothing. Where is he? Even in the top 100? Is this man, Bermain Stavern, even in the top 100, ain't done nothing for 2 years. Okay. And the WBC have him fight Wilder again. He gets knocked out. What is it, in the first round or the second round? Gets knocked out. Spectacular knockout of, don't want to call anybody be a bum, but in terms of the heavyweight division at this point, then, Stavern, yeah, big, fat, bloated Stavern. People said he was doing his training at the back in the car park of a KFC. They said he was sponsored by KFC. That's why he was doing his workout in the back of a KFC. Came big, fat, slow, sluggish, and he lay down. Just all got laid down. So that was one of the biggest travesties in heavyweight boxing in recent years, right there. The second fight. And then 2017, and then what does he do? 2018, 2019, about 2 years later, he fights Joe Joyce. One of the biggest travesties in heavyweight boxing in recent years, that second fight. And so I'll get to the point. I'll come back to the point. And the point is that, 5 years, a champion, but look at the caliber. Look at the caliber or the lack of caliber of the opponents. And it's a utter disgrace. Utterly disgraceful. I've dropped the link in the chat. Not armed and not dangerous. I've dropped the link. Moly moly, guacamole. Dame. We got another contribution. And that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. There's a lots of comments that I haven't got to, but I'm gonna bring EJ Boxing in. Where are the Americans? I'm gonna bring EJ Boxing in, and while he's talking, I'm gonna try and get to as many of these comments as I can. I don't know. I just like to get people involved in the shizzle. But much appreciation to everybody who's up here. Everybody, if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, and hit the bell icon. Smash the share button. And if you want to tickle the super chat button, then please do so. It all helps. Always got a show. We got some PPVs coming up, and I know you want to see the PPVs. You want Rafi to go live on the PPVs. Well, damn, this is how you do it. This is how you ensure that happens. By following the example of these good people right here and just throwing, oh my gosh, how rude of me. Throwing something in the tin. But I'll be scrolling down some of your comments as EJ Boxing comes with his response on where are the Americans? Where are the Americans? EJ Boxing.
Yes, Rafi. So you so eloquently going down the roster of Deontay Wilder's opponents. I must say though, like when Deontay won the belt of Stavern was the heavy favorite in that fight. He was actually the underdog, and even though like Stavern, when he beat Arreola was actually the favorite to win that fight. At the time, the heavyweight division's in flux. I don't know if he was around in 2015. He's probably doing MMA, so you're probably looking at he's probably doing MMA. So I don't know at the time. These guys at the time were would you say they were the best crop of guys, and Wilder coming through. He wasn't supposed to beat Stavern. Stavern was durable, hard, and Wilder, after fighting Stavern, I think he broke his hand on his head, that first fight. It was tough, man.
Yeah.
And then At that point, he was the first guy to go to the distance with Wilder. Wilder then gets in with Eric Molina. Obviously, we know Wilder. This is the reign of terror starts. Eric Molina later went on to beat Thomas Adamick, who was durable himself, was trying to make a run at the championship. Beats him in tremendous beats him in good fashion. And that Duhaupas actually gave him the hardest fight of his career, actually. Duhaupas, durable guy, quite durable, you know. He gave Wilder, he was walking down Wilder, the first guy to actually put Wilder under the cush, should I say. Went out to knock out Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius, as you know, knocked out Fee Kaneki. So these guys these guys are more or less fighting round about the same. But then, like I said to you, you know, you can go by the opponents. Arthur Spilker, we knew that guy. We actually thought I saw a death on TV. That was one of the most devastating knockouts I've ever seen on TV. I remember I was watching it with my girl. The time it was blinding. Obviously Chris Arreola, you know, Chris Arreola who challenged for Stavern, another contender. Remember Chris Arreola challenged for Vitaly Klitschko, lost his first. That was his first championship. So he crawled himself back up again. And you have Jared Washington. You know, was it El Negro? That's what his name was. You know, next guy coming through. All these guys coming through. Is America? Some of the America's not good, whatever. But these are the guys available. He's beaten. Most people could say, why did he fight Vladimir Klitschko? Well, I must say that Vladimir Klitschko at the time had Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, and Dillian White in his camp. And they used to help him get ready for his fights. I believe that Anthony Joshua helped him get ready for Pulev, and so did Dillian White. And the Wilder was with Friesen. So what Klitschko used to do, he used to have them as sparring partners and later on build them up. That's why he took the fight with Anthony Joshua, because he had a lot of success with Anthony Joshua when he was sparring, and they actually thought, yeah, well, you know, any day we've had him as sparring, we know everything about him, we beat him. But obviously they gambled wrong, and it's, you know, we had to know what that was. Moving on, obviously a rematch with Fern. Let's talk about the Luis Ortiz fight. Now, Luis Ortiz at the time beat what's his name again? Kofi, what's he not Kofi? What's it? Latif Coyote, who's moving up from cruiserweight, and also he bought some other names, and he was, you know, probably coming on. He was with Golden Boy at the time. That didn't work out. He got the drug scandal, whatever, and he broke up. And you know, Luis Ortiz, only the reason why Luis Ortiz even got a shot because Deontay Wilder was supposed to fight Povetkin. As you know, Deontay Wilder was on a plane going to Russia, and then Povetkin popped for Russia's, and he wanted the fight badly. But he said, Povetkin, I'm going to actually give you time, you know, to clean yourself up. I want to have that fight. And Povetkin didn't want it. He didn't want the fight. His team didn't want the fight. The same guy who knocked out Dillian White didn't want the fight.
Hold on. Are you sure about that?
100%. 100%.
Hold on. This is a very important. This is a very important point here. This is a very important point. So much so I gotta show my face. Hold on. Hold on. So are you EJ Boxing? This is the first time I've heard this story.
I know you don't know. I know you wouldn't know about this stuff, Referee.
Hold on. No. Hold on. There's some subliminal. You just slipped a subliminal in there. So hold on. So trying to slip it past me like you think I didn't realize. Come on, bro. I'm going through. Hold on. Oh no. I'm gonna let you come back in. But we need to pause at this juncture because you've just said something I have never ever heard anybody say before, and that is that Povetkin turned down a fight with Deontay Wilder after he popped. Yeah, he got it. Wilder wanted to clean himself up. You go type it out. Like I said to you, Rafi, he was probably doing MMA or whatever you was doing. You're probably not aware of this stuff though. So that's why when you're going through I'm just not aware of that particular. I know, obviously not. You're not aware of it. This is why This is interesting. But hold on. No, let me just pause you for a little bit. Yeah, but this is interesting because I have never heard anybody say that Povetkin turned down Deontay Wilder. So that's fascinating. And that's something that I'm gonna have to look into for a future discussion. But carry on from there. Yeah. As I say to you, like this is a comb of the resume, and you've combed for the resume, but I'm giving you the timeline of what was happening and why he fighting these opponents, so-called opponents or reign of terror. As you pull it, like these guys are not good. Then and the way I look at it like this, you can only fight the best available opponent. The same thing happened to a lot of heavyweight champions. Muhammad Ali, they said he was fighting bums, nothing but bums, and now you revise the situation.
You know that he wasn't. Same thing, Lennox Lewis. They criticized him. Say he's from England. He got criticized. Vladimir Klitschko, the same thing. It happens all the time that everyone goes through their resume. I find Kutu and they're picking apart the opponent, but really and truly, if these are the best opponents available, and the other guys, whatever reason, they do not want to fight you, this is what you get. So anyway, let me proceed anyway.
Yeah.
So Ortiz, so he got on the plane, go to Russia. Obviously, Povetkin popped. Wilder said, listen, Wilder was so fuming. He said, I don't care. I'll still fight. And then obviously his team said it's not a good idea, to go over Russia and they want to fight. And he said, I'll wait time and give him time to clear up his stuff and I'll fight. And Povetkin obviously didn't extend that. So then Wilder have to look elsewhere where they said the next guy is the boogeyman of the division. Ortiz just cleaned up from his drugs thing. And then Wilder said, I'll fight you. And then Ortiz pops again. And Wilder's thinking, well, my jinx or something like that. And now everyone's thinking, now most people, and then people were saying he ducked Povetkin after everyone knows that this guy got done for drugs. He ducked Ortiz, but then he said to Ortiz, listen, I'll give you this opportunity and I'll give the same like I gave to Povetkin. If you clean yourself up, I will give you a chance. And therein lies the fight. 28-0 at the time. You can arguably say who is he beat, but brother, he was considered as a danger man in the division. And when people talk about danger man, these guys have the potential to upset anyone. Like you know what I mean? You put Luis Ortiz there with Dillian White. You actually think that Dillian White could beat him, but he has the potential to beat Dillian White, right? So anyway, obviously we know what happened. Wilder got shook up. People complaining, the referee jumped in or whatever happened. Obviously Wilder wins the fight.
So and then I remember all of this now. After Povetkin, my ear was cocked to this stuff now. So I think as soon as right after the Povetkin thing, my ears was cocked to Wilder. My ears cocked to Wilder, not really cocked to it so much before, but directly after the Povetkin thing, my ears was cocked. So I'm fully up to speed with the goings on after Povetkin, and I do remember Wilder opting to fight Povetkin. I mean, what's his name? Ortiz. But at this stage, White was in the mix, was he not? White was in the mix by this stage.
No, he wasn't. No.
White was in the mix. White was in the mix. What was the date of that fight there with the Ortiz?
2018. 2018.
2018. White was in the mix. White was in the mix.
No, he wasn't. No, what do you mean the mix? Are you trying to say did he call out Wilder? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. By that time,
Wilder was still upset from not getting the Povetkin fight, and Dillian White wasn't in the mix. He wasn't in the mix, and Ortiz was the next best of opponent available. Right, so he took the Ortiz fight, and obviously he was looking for another guy. Now, where White came available is in between the Fury and the Ortiz. That's where White came available. He said, let fight me, and that's where Wilder was beating the drum. And he said, I ain't fight. You need to fight Ortiz and fight someone else before I fight you. And that's where he came available. And he said, like, well, you know what? I want Fury, and then that whole thing, build Fury up, let Fury fight some fights. Wilder said, okay, and this is where Wilder took a bit of a rest at this point because he's consistently fighting regularly. You can see by the on the dates he's fighting quite regularly, and give Fury a bit of time to get ready, and he took the fight. And by all means, you can look at that fight and look at Wilder. That's an opportunity missed. Like Dillian White missed the opportunity with Povetkin when you knocked the guy down twice in the fourth round, and you're coming into the fifth round, and everyone says take it easy. Well, the man's ready. The man's dangerous. Yeah, you know what I mean. The man's gonna be coming for you because you knocked him down. He has a lot of experience. All you got to do at this point, is try and draw him out, make him miss with a counter, and then open up a flurry, and maybe the referee stops the fight because he can't stop himself. But anyway, we saw what happened with obviously Dillian in this fight. Obviously,
let me stop it there for a second. So okay, so first Ortiz fight is 28. That's March. Third day in March 2018. So what's that? That's like that's a 2.5. Yeah, that's like 2.5 years ago, just shy of 2.5 years. So at this point, 2.5 years, Dillian White is coming up in the mix now. But the first Luis Ortiz fight, fine, that's legit. That is legit. Anthony Joshua, of course, at this time is champion, and they're having some back and forth. Some words are going back and forth. But by this time now, Dillian Whyte is coming up to the number 1 spot in the WBC. So if not before this fight, if not before the Luis Ortiz fight, then certainly after Dillian Whyte is in the mix. Dillian Whyte is already number 2 or number 1 ranked in the WBC directly after this. So after the Ortiz fight and before the Fury fight, which happened at the end of 2018, Dillian Whyte was in the mix, because I remember that Tyson Fury leapfrogged Dillian Whyte. So Dillian Whyte, after the Luis Ortiz fight right about there, is now number 1 in the WBC rankings. So what happened there is that Tyson Fury came back, had a few bum fights, and then said he was ready. At this point, Tyson Fury leapfrogs Dillian Whyte. But back to your timeline. Carry on, EJ Boxing.
All right. Well, let's do it. Dillian Whyte wasn't that naturally the number 1 contender. There was a mix up between him and Brazil.
No. He's a number. I never said the number. No. Yeah, definitely. Dillian Whyte was the number 1 contender. Or number 2.
Let me finish what I'm saying.
Yeah, carry on.
All right. He wasn't number 1. There wasn't number 1. There was no number 1 at that point. The WBC said you have to fight the Dominic Brazil, and Dillian Whyte opted not to fight Dominic Brazil. I think Dominic Brazil, who did he fight? He fought someone and he beat him, and then he got the shot. That's how that worked. He wasn't number 1. He had the silver belt and diamond belt. To get to the number 1 spot of the WBC, you have to knock off a name. And at that point, Dillian Whyte was still looking for a more credible name at that point. At that point, Dillian Whyte didn't have no big names on his resume at that point. And Dillian Whyte was looking for a fight with looking to fight Anton Tarver at the time. And I remember I talked to Tarver at the time. Tarver said he would fight him, and Dillian Whyte said, "Well, don't price yourself out." Even though Dillian Whyte said I'd fight anyone, Tarver said I'd fight you, because Tarver obviously he fought at cruiserweight, and also he's a light heavyweight, light heavyweight champion, Roy Jones knockout and all that. Anyway, that fight fell through because Dillian didn't want to pay Tarver the money. So Dillian was looking for names at this time, more credible names to build his resume. But he didn't want to fight Brazil at the time, and I didn't understand why he didn't want to fight Brazil, because at that point Joshua beat Brazil.
Brazil was lower in the ranking at this point. I think Dillian Whyte was number 1 ranked, and Brazil was number 7.
It wasn't number 1. There was no number 1 ranking. They were fighting for
number 2 ranked, and Breezel was.
There was no number. He wasn't number 2. They were fighting for number 1. There was no number 1 to 2. The WBC rankings, at that point, they were all up in flux because it was changing a lot. The WBC, like I said, the WBC was changing a lot, and right now they were still establishing who was in the mix. It was like a 4 fight tournament. There was like 2. There was Dillian Whyte, and there was also, I think there was Ortiz as well. Ortiz was still involved as well. So what he said is that then they said to Dillian Whyte, okay, fight them Brazil. He said no. Then they said to him, fight Ortiz. He said no, I ain't fighting him either. And then that whole thing going on. So when you're talking about him number 1 contender, he wasn't exactly, because he didn't want to fight the guy to get to number 1 contender. That's why this whole process actually took longer than it actually did, because he didn't want to fight the guys that WBC actually offered him. He said, no, I don't want to fight them. But you can still, even though you don't take the offer, you still retain your ranking. So Dillian Whyte said, okay, I'll fight other guys then. So this is why he took the long way around of fighting these guys like Lucas Brown, who's, actually was a world champion, but they stripped him for drugs. And what's his name again? Hellenius, a European champion, and these guys. What Dillian Whyte did, he wasn't no number 1 contender around this time. He was just still trying to make names for himself. And this is why with the
when did he become? He became number 1 over 1,000 days ago.
No, that's not true. That's not
number
true.
1 ranked.
No, that's not true. It's not true. It's not true.
He's been number 1 for over. He became number 1 ranked over 1,000 days.
No, that's not true. It's not true, because you couldn't. You had to fight for number 1.
When did he how long has he been number 1 ranked in the WBC?
He hasn't. Only when he beat what's that guy? The guy for the drugs after the drug ban. What's that name again? The one with the messed up with the clubs.
Who?
You know when Jennings lost to the guy, and then Jennings lost. What's his name? Rivas. Rivas had
a drug issue.
Yeah. No. Dillian Whyte had that drug issue after the Rivas fight, right?
Oh, you're saying that Dillian Whyte became number 1 in the WBC, number 1 ranked when he fought Rivas.
Yeah, remember? Don't you remember? And they said he's gonna. Yeah, and they said he's gonna get his shot. And then when they said he was,
I think there's a cross communication. There's a cross communication.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish what I'm saying, Rafi. Let me finish. I will clarify. Rafi, let me finish what I'm saying, and then I could. Then you can. You know what I'm saying? All right. So when that fight happened, that was the number one contendership because he knocked off Jennings and Jennings. I'm talking about number one spot. Number one spot. We're talking about number one spot. Yeah, number one. We're talking over each other, so you let me just say what I'm saying, and I'll let you finish. Right? Number one spot was when he beat Rivas. When he beat Rivas, there and then the WB said, "You are now the number one. You have the number one spot." And then after that, that's when that drug thing. The WB said, "You're no longer the number one spot." That's when the whole thing. He was, then he wasn't. That right then, when he beat Rivas, he became the number one. So it wasn't 1,000 days, but you continue. Go ahead.
Okay, right. So. Okay, where is Rivas? Rivas is here. That's the 7th month, 2019. So that is only 336 days. That's 336 days. So the minimum, people are talking about 600 days. So we're talking about double that time period. So at least double that time period. Dillian Whyte has been number one ranked, not number one contender or mandatory. Number one ranked in the WBC for over 1,000 days. How many days in a year? 356. So that's at least 2 years number one ranked in the WBC. I'm not talking about mandatory. I'm talking about ranking in the WBC 1,000 days, 2 years. So where are we now? In August. We're in August of 2020. So we're talking about August of 2018 at the latest. So 2018, August 2018. Where are we talking about now? Joseph Parker time. He was being said, they were saying, yeah, fight this guy, fight that guy to be the number one mandatory. That's a different thing. I'm talking about number one ranked in the WBC, and that was before the Joseph Parker fight, which happened in July of 2018. So I'm talking number one ranked in the WBC, not number one mandatory. That's the difference. But for sure, Dillian Whyte, I'm stating it clearly, has been number one ranked in the WBC for over 1,000 days. That's the point that I was trying to get across. EJ Boxing, back to you.
All right. When I talk, let's let me finish what I'm saying. As you can see, it says Oscar Rivas. Yeah, it says interim WBC. So underneath that, it doesn't say interim. So do you know what interim means? You know what interim means? I'm trying to tell you what interim means. Interim means is like you're the number one contendership. Like I told you, when he fought Oscar Rivas, that's when it started. So anything before the silver belt is not. The silver belt is getting the rankings up. That's not number one contender. When the interim, when you won the interim, that was the number one contendership. There and then, that's the WBC said it. Said that's when you beat Oscar Rivas, you was the number one contender. Furthermore, I can either that. If you go on Deontay Wilder's thing, right? Yeah. If you go on Deontay Wilder's thing, this is when he beat Rivas because they reinstated him as number one. That's when they reinstated. If you go to Deontay Wilder, if you press the WBC onto Wilder, what you'll see is Alexander Povetkin versus Dillian Whyte. At that point, right, whoever won that fight was going to be fighting for Dillian Whyte. Before that, you got all the other challenges, yeah? You got all the other challenges there. So you see Oscar Rivas and Dillian Whyte, right? So you see Dillian Whyte, 2019. If you press it, you can see the rankings. At that point, that's when he was the number one contendership. And then it was between Wilder, it's going to be Wilder and him. But obviously, Wilder opted to fight Ortiz and then obviously opted to fight Fury. But Dillian Whyte, because of that, the whole thing with the drug thing, he was sitting there. So if you want to start counting number one days, it started in 2019. That's when he was number one. From then on, there we go.
Okay, so it's been that's what you're saying. What I'm saying is
that's what WBC. That's not me saying. The WBC said it.
What I'm saying is WBC as he has been number one ranked in the WBC for over 1,000 days. That's what I'm saying. People can go out there and fact check. So we got
the proof is there. I'll give you the link. The proof is there. Like, I mean, I would share the screen. It's right in front of you. The Oscar Rivas, when he beat Oscar Rivas, that's when he was #1 ranked, not before. Just there and then. That's how that was. Right. So that's that. What they were saying before, he would hear the WBC silver belt, but that doesn't mean you're #1 ranked. It's just
who was #1 ranked before that?
There was there was before him. I think you can see before. I think it was Dominic Brazil. Like I said, he didn't want to fight Dominic Brazil, and it was Luis Ortiz. The guy, 2 guys in front of him that he didn't choose to fight. That's the 2. If he fought them, he would have been #1 to contender quick enough. Dylan didn't want to fight them. Dylan didn't want to fight them, like I said before. So what he did, he skirted around the skating board and fought other opposition and kept these and start notching him up until them guys got knocked off until it was better for him, which is smart because in the day, Deontay Wilder, as he's fighting his opposition, he's going to obviously start decline, and it's all about timing. Boxing's all about timing, so it was the right timing for as Dillian Whyte concerned for him to get the shot. So when they fought Povetkin, it was another old champion we can knock off. We can help we can even bolster our ranking, even though we're #1 ranking. We can bolster it to say, listen, without a doubt, I've knocked off a former old champion. Dylan came in so overconfident, and we know what happened there.
Let me just jump in real quick before we get off that point. At no point has Dominic Breezel been ranked higher than Dillian Whyte in the WBC.
Let me clarify something to you, Rafi. Yeah, how does someone get a shot at the WBC?
Yeah, no, my point stands. At no point,
yeah, no, he was
higher ranked than
when you get a shot. When you get a shot at the WBC, that means you're ranked higher. He wasn't that wasn't a voluntary. That was a mandatory that Dillian Whyte, the Deontay Wilder had to fight. Ortiz and Dominic Brazil were mandatories. They wasn't voluntaries, so they were ranked higher than him because he didn't choose to fight.
Ranked higher than him for crying.
Why, I don't understand why you just go on box record. You can see the evidence.
No point was I'm on box record. No point.
Why are you looking at? Why are you looking at? I'm looking at the WBC rankings.
Breezel ranked higher than Dillian Whyte.
Hold on. If they've got a shot, at the championship,
yeah.
If they've got a shot at the championship, that means they're ranked higher. What do you don't understand? What do you understand? They're ranked higher than if they've got a shot. Why would you if they're fighting for the championship and he's not? That means they're ranked higher than him. What do you understand about that?
At no point was Breezel ranked higher than Dillian Whyte.
How did he get a shot then? How did he get a shot? How did he get a shot, Rafi?
The WBC.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
At no point has Dominic Breezel ever.
Rafi, you're looking at the wrong thing. You're looking, Rafi, on the screen. On your screen, you're looking at the wrong thing. What you need to press, Rafi?
Hold on.
Yeah. I'm telling you. See the WBC there. Press the WBC there. Press that button there, and you'll see.
Hold on. Okay, what do you want me to press?
All right. See where it says the World Boxing Council World Heavyweight Title. Press that.
World Boxing
Council. Press that. Yeah. So you can see what I'm talking about now. Okay. And also move the thing off the screen. This British beat. You've moved it off the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. So I can clarify what I'm talking about. Yeah. Appreciate it. Yeah. And then I can just explain to you what I'm talking about.
Okay, there we go.
All right, as you can see, Alexander Povetkin is and Dillian Whyte. They're still because obviously got the rematch. Yeah, so let's stay for now. Alexander Povetkin is the #1 contender. You agree with that?
Yeah,
that's for now. All right. Yeah. So if you go as you go down, see where it says Dillian Whyte and Ortiz, and then you see where it says.
Hold on. I'm going down. It's Tyson Fury here. Deontay Whyte.
Yeah. Okay. See where it says Dillian Whyte, Oscar Rivas.
Yeah.
There and then, that was the #1. That was the battle for the #1 ship to get to fight Deontay Wilder or Fury. That's why he's ranked. If you go before that, hold on. If you go before that, if you go before that, scroll it down.
Yeah.
You'll see nothing before that Dillian Whyte's name is in there. That was for the #1 contention. This is how it works. So you see Dominic Brazil, as I said to you, Dominic Brazil, and you see Luis Ortiz. These are the #1 contenders on the WBC. This is why their names are there. This is not me. This is WBC. This is how it is.
Okay.
All right.
Let me come in now. Okay. So right. So you got Dillian Whyte there, Oscar Rivas. Right. So just to clarify or correct, if Oscar Rivas had won that fight, he would not have been #1 in the WBC, #1 contender for the belt in the WBC. That was a one-way thing.
It was only Dillian White qualified to be the number one contender for the WBC belt, not Oscar Rivas. Okay, that was the WBC ruling. Only Dillian White would graduate to number one mandatory. Okay, before that, he was already ranked number one in the WBC before this fight. When this fight was made, Matchroom, Hearn, White had to petition.
They're lying to you, Rafi. They're lying to you. That's what I'm saying. They're lying to you.
Had to petition. They had to petition the WBC to make this fight for a mandatory position. They had to petition, and there was back and forth. It was unsure whether the WBC would accept it because this wasn't a WBC ruling. It was Matchroom who made the fight, and they said, surely this is good enough. And there was back and forth before they said, okay. They capitulated and said, okay. The WB said okay. But only Dillian White will become number one mandatory if he wins this fight, not Oscar Rivas. And the point that I'm making is that Dillian White was already ranked number one in the WBC, not number one mandatory, but number one in the WBC rankings. And furthermore, Breezel has never been ranked higher than Dillian White in the WBC rankings. That's the point I've been trying to make. EJ Boxing.
All right, so no interruption now. So let me see, right? As everyone can see clearly, right? Tyson Fury out for how long? He got a number one shot. He was the number one contender, as you can see, straight over Dillian White, because obviously.
Hold on, was that a mandatory?
I said no interruption. So let me finish what I'm saying.
All right.
Right? Yeah, he didn't get. He fought. I don't know. He fought them bums. The bums he fought. That wasn't helping. The bums he fought. Yeah. Before Wilder. Yeah, that was Paynetter, fine. The bums he fought. That wasn't them bums before. But he definitely was above Dillian White. So he was the number one contender.
He was not above Dillian White. He was lower in the rankings than Dillian White.
Let me finish what I'm saying. Well, he wasn't a voluntary because it wasn't a voluntary because the WBC belt was on the line, so it wasn't a voluntary. It was a direct line that he got a shot at the number one WBC. It's like Vitaly. Vitaly is a WBC emeritus. If he comes out of retirement, he'll get a number one shot at the WBC. This is how the WBC work, right? So, end of the day, yeah, what we're talking about, if we're talking about number one status, Tyson Fury was above thing. You can see it there, but this is why they get their shots. And this is what I'm saying. Dillian White's name, I know what Eddie Hearn's saying, but this is a fact. You can see it there for yourself. Dillian White only appears with Oscar Rivas, and that fight, if Eddie Hearn was saying that Dillian White, when he beat Rivas, he was the only one. So look, watch this. Let me show you something. This is how Eddie Hearn check shit. How comes when Dillian White fought Alexander Povetkin, right? He beat Dillian White fought Alexander Povetkin. How comes he now is the number one? Because if you beat the guy who's the number one ranked, so he said, then you become the number one. That's what's happened to Alexander Povetkin. So why doesn't that stand with Oscar Rivas? Because Oscar Rivas beat Dillian White, he would have been number one, but there would have probably been a rematch clause in the same thing. It's the same thing. This is not voluntaries. Dillian White, yeah. Let me finish what I'm saying because you've talked. So let me see what I'm saying, right? It's there clear as day. Number one contender, they fight the WBC. They put them in position and they fight. And these are the guys. Unless the WBC champion, which is Deontay Wilder, said he's going to take a voluntary. He took a voluntary with Ortiz in the second fight. He didn't have to fight him again. Another thing about when you fight your number one contender, you don't have to fight them again. You don't have to. It's up to the champion if he obviously wins. And he chose to do a voluntary with Luis Ortiz.
Can I ask you?
One minute. I haven't finished though. Like I haven't a voluntary with Luis Ortiz. Then the WBC put Fury as the number one contender for what he did against Vladimir and other opponents. Then he was above Dillian White, right? And Dillian White was making, come on and getting my shot. Wilder worked for me. And Wilder was telling him the same thing. Why don't you fight Brazil? Why do you fight Luis Ortiz? He said, I don't want to fight them. He said, fine, don't fight me. Therein. So therein lies Dillian White's 1,000 days. He ducked certain fighters. He waited till certain fighters got old. And then he went in there and he got knocked out by old Povetkin. And I ain't got nothing more to say. Rafi, thank you for coming up. And bye-bye.
OMG. Yo, EJ, you're my bro, but fucking hell, mate. OMG. OMG. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to say this for crying out loud. Dillian Whyte was the number 1 ranked in the WBC. Not number 1 mandatory. Number 1 in the rankings for over 1,000 days. 1,000 days. Damn. And I don't know, bro. Did you say that if it's a voluntary, you can't? If it was Deontay Wilder's voluntary, that it wouldn't be for the belt? Did you say that? I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm asking you if you said that. Did you say that if it's a voluntary, then you can't? Then it's not for the belt? I'm not saying you said that. I'm asking you, did you say that? Because I don't think that's correct, bro. I don't think that's correct. No disrespect. I'm just saying I don't think that's correct. You can have a voluntary and it is still for the belt. I'm not saying you said that. I'm asking you if you said that. And if you said that, hey, none of us are right 100% of the time. But if you did say that, if you said that, then, bro, you were wrong. Okay, so Fury came in. When Fury got his pop, a crack at Dillian Whyte, I'm pretty damn sure that was a voluntary. That's why you had the talk about when is Deontay Wilder going to fight a mandatory. I repeat, when Deontay Wilder fought who did I just mention? Tyson Fury. That was not a mandatory. I don't think it was a mandatory. I hope I'm not wrong. And if I'm wrong, I apologize. And when he fought Ortiz for the second time, that was not a mandatory. That was a voluntary, and it was for the belt. Okay. OMG. So I repeat, Dillian Whyte was number 1 ranked in the WBC, number 1 in the rankings, not number 1 mandatory, for over 1,000 days. Woo. And please, people, correct me if I'm wrong. When he fought Fury the first time, Fury was not a mandatory. It was voluntary, and it was for the belt. Oh, Lordy. Oh my gosh. EJ, you raised my pulse level there. You raised my pulse level, bro. Why you raise my pulse level? Oh gosh. Damn. Whew. Okay. Give me a couple seconds. Let me catch my breath. Oh my, let me clear my throat. Yeah, I got the words wrong. Okay. Let me clear my throat. Okay. And whew. Let's get into the chat. OMG. Number 1 ranked DC, even T White knows, even the doctor, even the fight doctor knows. Come on, let me put the link in the chat again. OMG. Link in the chat again. Whew. Damn. So even T White is acknowledging that Dillian Whyte was number 1 ranked in the rankings, not mandatory.
I never said mandatory. I said in the rankings. Okay. So, yes, I know that. I know that of which you speak, T. White. I know that. As a matter of fact, rat-tat-tat-tat, let me just give some acknowledgement to the super chats. Okay. Now smash the like button, folks. That's damn good idea. Smash the like button. Hit the, what other button? The share button. What other buttons? What other good buttons? The super chat buttons there. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah. Share. Okay. And where's the other super chat? There we go. And there was Tom. I think there was Tom. Tom, you know, when you do the super chat, you can put a comment in the thing to make so I can read it out. And Tom admits that he shot JR, but okay. Let's scroll on down. EJ, the people don't believe you, EJ. The people don't believe you. What you just said, that Dillian White has not been number one in the WBC rankings. Ortiz beat who? Okay. X, the one and only one, says this guy's schooling you, Rafi. No, don't get me wrong. EJ's my bro, but no. Okay. The X, the one and only, says that EJ's talking facts. Others say stop trolling. X says EJ telling the truth. He says he's heard it. Father Jack Hackett says never. What's this guy saying? X, the one and only, says it's the truth. Good job for what, selling Rafi? Nobody's gonna sell me, bro. Nobody can buy me, and that means nobody can sell me. You must be out of your freaking mind. What's going on here? What's going on here? Actions speak louder than words. At the end of the day, Wilder didn't fight Povetkin. Wilder chats shiz nicks. Who said Ali fights bums? Yeah, some people do, actually. Some people do. Iron Kong up in the building. Danger to himself. Danger with scissors in his hands. POV. Ortiz and White popped when on course to find Wilder common denominator. Popped? No. White was clean. And the shiznicks that was in. The shiznicks that was, yeah, Ortiz popped for sure. Yeah. Latif Coyote is the no contest on Ortiz's record. He tested positive for steroids. Ali fought them all. Yes, he did. But he did. Some people do try to denigrate Ali's resume for sure. Funny, sure. Funny how he says that these were the best around. Povetkin was around. Klitschko was around. Even Fury. Yeah, he wasn't fighting the best around at all. He wasn't fighting Povetkin. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'll give you that one. He wasn't fighting Klitschko, and even Fury was around. Yeah, but Fury, to be fair, I think Fury ducked out, didn't he? Oh no, you're right. No, because when asked in the ring about Fury, because Fury got in there and they had the face-to-face, and then later, when asked about Fury, fighting Fury, Wilder said, "We have other things in line. Yeah, that's what Fury said. So he kind of did duck Fury before Fury retired. Yeah. Let's get it right. Okay. As I said before, White was number 1 ranked, not number 1 mandatory. Why did Wilder send White an email saying he won't fight him for 2 years? That's when he was number 1. He was number 1 ranked. He was number 1 ranked in the WBC at that time. He was number 1 ranked at the WBC at that time, Iron Kong. You understand? You understand? Yes, he was number 1. Not number 1 mandatory, but number 1 ranked. 100%. White was number 1 ranked and has been for over 1,000 days. Not number 1 mandatory. Don't get it twisted. I think that's where you got it mixed up, my bro. I think that's where you got it mixed up. Number 1 ranked in the WBC. Wilder sent ducking receipts. Why did Fury not have to fight anyone to get the Wilder fight? That's what I'm saying. My friend EJ says that that Fury was a mandatory. And I'm saying, no, he wasn't. Fury was a voluntary. The first fight, Fury was a voluntary. I'm not saying my bro's lying, but he's got it mixed up. He's got it mixed up. He's definitely got it mixed up. He knows his stuff. Don't get it twisted, bro. On this particular point, he's got it mixed up. This time. Okay. Dillian White was number 1 ranked long before that. Yes. OMG. OMG. Yeah, when Dillian was made mandatory, number 1 mandatory, he was already number 1 ranked. Yes. Where we at now? Oh my gosh. Okay, so false mate. White was number 1 way before number 1 ranked in the WBC, way before the Rivas fight. Yes. Oh my gosh. OMG. Oh my gosh. Wilder is a duck. Yes. How many times do I need to put the link in the chat to pull in the Americans? How many times do I need to put the link in the chat to pull in the Americans? Don't get me wrong, I've had super chats from the Americans, and for that I'm much appreciated. I appreciate super chats from everywhere. I appreciate when you smash that like button. I appreciate when you smash that share button particularly. That's particularly good. And of course, when you smash that subscribe button, I think most of you are already subscribed, but for sure, don't forget to share the shiznicks. It helps the growth of the channel. And, the Rafi wants to do certain things. And for that, the channel, the growth, the continual growth. We're looking at the continual growth. Okay. So I found an article, Rafi. White was made number 1 ranked on the 10th of November. OMG. How do I do this? Let me see if I can figure out a way where you can get that information in. Who said that? Was it Philip Carl Roberts? Hold on. Okay. Let me find Philip Carl Roberts. Okay, Philip Carl Roberts, I'm going to anoint you moderator just long enough for you to get that. Can I do that? Add a moderator. Just long enough for you to get that link in. Because links are blocked on this channel because you never know. There's some weirdos who come in. And, so anti-weirdo prevention. That's why links are blocked. Okay. Now we're cooking.
Number one ranked DCT.
Now we're cooking. You need to mute that sound, oh Wild Soul. That's why I got you on mute until you mute that sound that I can hear it, because that causes a reverberation. And that's not a nice sensation. Okay. So yeah, you're good now. You're good now. We are live with Wild Soul up in the building. Wild Soul, come with it.
Yeah, I think EJ he pretty much called you out, shut you down. He schooled you. He ran down Wilder's whole resume.
Hold on.
I can't even do that.
How can I be schooled? How can I be schooled when my brother got
because he let you know.
And he got it wrong. He got it wrong. He got it wrong. He got it wrong. So how can I be schooled?
He didn't get it wrong. He didn't get it wrong.
Listen, look at your screen, my friend. Look at your screen. I found an article. Rafi, White was made number one ranked on the 10th of November, 2017. My friend, my bro EJ is saying.
But that was talking about White, but White got knocked out cold the other night.
Hold on a second. Let's stick to the facts. Let's stick to the facts, my bro.
The fact is he got knocked out.
Hold on.
Okay, I got you.
My friend EJ was saying that White became number one ranked in the WBC after he beat Rivas. Okay, let's do a little bit of magic. Let me share the screen. Uno momento. Mami, slow your tempo. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so what was the thing we was looking at before? What was the thing that we was looking at before? That's not what I want.
And I think I inspired James Jameson to drop you another 5 pounds.
Hold on a second. I think I need to press this and then get this out of the way. And where's this thing? Where's this thing blocking? Get out of the way. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Can you see it? Hold on. Can you see it?
Yes.
No, let me move this out. Let me just drop that out of the way so you can see this clear. I don't want no ambiguity. Okay, so where are we? Dillian. No. Oscar. Yeah, here. Oscar Rivas, Dillian White. So my bro EJ is saying that Dillian White became number one mandatory when he beat Oscar Rivas on the 7th month of July 2019. But no, he was made mandatory. He was made number one ranked. That's number one mandatory. I was talking about number one ranked in the WBC. He's been number one ranked in the WBC since the 10th of November 2017. That's like almost 2 years prior to this date. And that's what we were debating about.
Rafi, you act like you don't know the politics of the business.
Hold on a second. No, hold on. I'm going to let you speak, but first things first, and right is right. The point was, how long has he been number one ranked in the WBC? And that has been from like 3 years ago. 1,000 days, like I was saying. Now, EJ was vehemently opposed to that notion. He said, no, it's from the Oscar Rivas day, but that is not the case. He's been number one ranked in the WBC for over 1,000 days. That's the WBC, not number one mandatory, number one ranked. Another point of contention was when my bro said that Tyson Fury was a mandatory. Tyson won the first fight. Tyson Fury 1 was not a mandatory. That was a voluntary. That was the point. That's been a point of contention. When is Wilder gonna fight a mandatory? And that was the point of contention. Fury 1 was not a mandatory. So there was those points of contention where I was right and my bro was wrong. It's just that simple.
Dominic Brazil was supposedly the mandatory.
Hold on. How could I be schooled when my bro was wrong? How can you give me incorrect information and then say you schooled me? He never said he schooled me, but you're saying he schooled me. But he was giving incorrect. It was incorrect. So how could I be schooled with incorrect information? It's impossible, my friend. It's impossible.
Well, I don't know about that part.
Over to you, also.
Okay. I don't know all the details
But I gave it
of
to you,
that
bro.
situation.
You heard.
Yeah, I mean, you showed me box rec. You showed me the records and the fights that Dillian White had. It said nothing about number one.
Hold on a second. I think James.
Number one mandatory.
Hold on. No. Hold on. I was talking about number one in the WBC. Hold on. Is James
Okay.
Jameson? Oh, James Jameson has dropped the link. No. I made it very clear though. Oh, James Jameson has dropped the link. So hold on. We like to show receipts over here in the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio Show. But first and foremost, I appreciate you jumping on. Wild Soul.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you having me.
Always. We like to get in. We like to get participation worldwide. You know, this ain't no one nation thing. It's a world nation thing.
It's global, man.
Global.
Always. Yeah,
Global.
absolutely.
Global. So let me share this with you. I don't like the way the screen looks right now. I like more color on my screen. I'm not saying I'm not colorful, but still even more colorful than me. Let me see what you can see. Can you see what I can see? Okay, yes, you can see. Do you see what I see? So, right, so WBC interim world title on the line for White versus Rivas. Heavyweight contenders to battle for mandatory position. Okay, all right, so you're seeing what I'm seeing. You're definitely seeing what I'm seeing. Where are we here? I'm just trying to get that to share. Okay, let's scroll on down. Oh damn! I hope I'm not gonna have to read every damn word. Okay, White. Here it is. Yes. Okay, that's highlighted. Do you see it clearly? No, I'm gonna blow it up so there's no ambiguity. There's no argument. There's no messing around. Where are we here? Let me just move this across so everybody can see. Everybody can see. Hold on. Who's this? Come on. EJ has come back on, but let me read this first, EJ. Let me read this first. Okay. So the White 25, 1-18. 18 KOs has been number one in the WBC rankings since November 17, and has overcome all challenges since he blasted his way towards a deserved world title shot. The body stature hailing from Brixton in London put Derek Chair. Okay, we know all about that, but the pertinent points right here. EJ, I'm coming to you. White has been number one in the WBC ranking since November 2017. Let me bring EJ back in. EJ,
You hear me?
you are back in.
All right. Let me just done this. So for everyone listening, the wording is very, very specific with his wording.
Yeah.
Ranking, and there's number one ranking. Are you talking about being in the top 10, the top 20, the top 30? You're talking about
I'm talking about number one ranking in the WBC.
All right, so let's stick there then, Rafi. So you're gonna have to explain to your audience right now, who did he beat to come number one, to be number one ranked? Explain to everyone.
No, I'll tell him.
Yeah.
I'll tell him. Hold on a second. Okay. Let me just scroll back so we can actually share this. You're finished,
Rafi. You're done, Rafi. You're done.
I'm finished.
You are. You won't. Because if you go down his box rec, you only see Oscar Rivas. Before then, you'll see silver belt with Derek Chisora, right? And you'll see a silver belt with Joseph Parker. But you will not, at that point, see interim. And what we're talking about is the number one ranking. So you said number one, and I said to you, now you're gonna have to explain to me. Okay, so explain to me who was the number one ranking. And like I said, it was Oscar Rivas for the number one position to fight for the WBC. Who did he beat to come number one ranking? Tell me that.
Well, I'm gonna do better than tell you. I'm gonna show you.
I'm going
to show you on the screen.
Go ahead.
On the screen. Okay. Right. So boom, you can see that. All right. Okay. So we're scrolling. This is Dillian White. Okay, we're scrolling. We're scrolling. Okay. Right. So
Who did he beat to get to number one in the WBC? Okay. So he beat the people he beat: Robert Hellenius, Lucas Brown, Joseph Parker, Derek Chisora, Oscar Rivas. Hold on.
All right. Stop
Stop
there.
Yeah.
So stop this.
Yeah.
You know Joseph Parker was the WBO champion, right?
Yeah.
And as you can see on the ranking, it says silver belt. Silver.
Yeah.
Do you know what silver? You know what the silver means? There's gold, there's bronze, and there's silver. I'm telling you. This is what I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you, bro. This is what I'm trying to say to you. You have to, and your thing is you can't go by what someone's telling you. You can go by with data. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. Only thing you see is interim. WBC, and like I said to you, he got offered to fight Brazil, he turned down, and I told you Luis Ortiz he turned down, and they got a shot above him, so they was ranked above him. Now, when he finally got his shot, when he said, "Okay, Oscar Rivas is an acceptable guy," Eddie Hearn told you the bullshit where he can only fight for Dillian White, but that was bullshit because Oscar Rivas beat him. Oscar Rivas would have been fighting against the winner out of Fury and Wild. That's how that would have worked. Same thing for Povetkin. Povetkin's beat him. He would have got the shot. That's how that works. The WBC is very simple. They tell you who they're gonna fight, and if you don't want to fight them, you don't lose your ranking. You stay there. He was never number one, and that's my point. And I have nothing more to say because opponents right there.
You're getting your mixed up with
them opponents right there. Derek Chisora and Joseph Parker. Obviously, no Derek. There's no way you could tell me beating Derek Chisora will make you number one ranking. You can never tell me about Joseph Parker.
Who did Breezel beat to get to be number one ranked?
No. You had to prove to me that Dillian White. Who did he beat? And you can't do that because, like I said to you, only person he beat, like I told you, when
who
it wasn't
did Breezel beat to be number one?
Oscar Rivas. He only got number one contendership when he beat Oscar Rivas. I have not. All you guys there, you listen to your bullshit. And furthermore, that data you got from 2017, he was ranked, yeah, but that was from what for Michelle Joy Phelps, and she works for Sky. That's what you call conflict of interest. If you're gonna come with an article, come with a data from one of the major articles. He hasn't beat no one. Absolutely no one to be number one.
Who did Breezel beat to be number one?
Hold up. The WBC mandated him to fight Brazil. He didn't want to fight Brazil. They mandated him to fight Ortiz. He didn't want to fight Ortiz. Therefore, his ranking didn't go down. He fought Oscar Rivas and then he became. So it's not 1,000 days. There's nothing more to say. And you can't tell me them Derek Zora could make you number one ranking.
Who did Breezel beat to become number EJ Boxing, my brother. Why you go away, my brother? We were talking. My brother. Where you go away? Damn. I'm gonna have to go over this again. Looks like I'm good. Don't go nowhere.
I'm still in the building.
I need a witness. EJ, I know you're still listening. Who did Breezel beat? Because by your argument, to be number one, you have to get to be mandatory, you have to be number one ranked. So my brother, EJ, tell me, who did Dominic Breezel beat to become number one mandatory? And you're saying that if you're number one mandatory, that means you're number one ranked in the WBC. My brother, that is not the case. The two don't correlate. So let me go through some facts here. Let me spit some facts here. Don't get me wrong, EJ is a very knowledgeable guy. But on this particular case, he is so wrong. Just this time, EJ.
Is that right?
So, Fury was not a mandatory. He was a voluntary. So you got that part wrong. Fury was something like number 7 ranked in the WBC. They just quickly ranked him before the fight. Whilst White was like number 1 or number 2, but I think he was number 1. Yeah? So Fury was not a mandatory. Fury was ranked lower than White. And Breezel has never been ranked in the WBC higher than White. Never has. And lordy, in comes the fight doctor, and also let me drop this so everybody can see. In comes EJ Boxing.
All right,
Hold up, fight doctor, just fight. EJ, hold up, fight doctor, just hold up a second. EJ, please.
Yeah, I'll answer your question, but I didn't need to because you never answered my question. So I'll answer your question that you didn't.
I did answer your question.
Who did he beat? Who did he beat to come number one? Then
I gave you the list.
No. I didn't. I didn't ask the list. I said which person did he beat, and you haven't answered the question. So I will answer the question.
I'll give you the list. It's Robert.
No.
Alanius, Lucas.
I'll answer your question. No. I told you. Nope. None of them. Nope. One person you beat. And I tell you this, right? You asked me the question, yeah? Who did he beat, right? So after Joshua, he beat Israel Ngunu, who was 17-0. He beat Carlos Molina. He beat him, who was 26-4. And he beat Carlos, Nogueira? He beat him, who had 20 fights and 1 win. He had to crawl his way back up from losing to Joshua, and he beat undefeated Carlos Ngunu. That's how he beat. He beat like 4 guys on the stretch who had good records to get himself a shot at Dillian White. They're like, that guy deserved the shot at the time. Unlike your guy who fought Derek Chisora.
Who's my guy?
Derek, I know you don't even know. You know, these guys are number one. These guys.
Who's my guy?
1 minute, Rafi. You asked me a question, so I'm answering you. I didn't have to ask your question, but I will, yeah? What I'm saying is, the guys he beat and knocked off, yeah? He had to beat. The WBC told him that you need to fight these guys here because they were ranked before him. Like, the WBC have their own ranking. So he had to beat like 4 or 5 guys to get a shot at Wilder. Unlike unlike Dillian White, who said, I don't want to fight this guy. This guy don't do that to get a shot at Wilder. This guy's old.
Who had to do that to get a shot at Wilder?
Hold on a minute. Joseph Parker wasn't even ranked in the WBC, bruv. He was a WBO champion. What did he if he beat Dillian White, he would have got ranked. He wasn't even ranked. He was just the champion. Hold on, 1 minute. He was just the champion of WBO champion. When you're the WBO champion, you're not ranked in the WBC. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. So when I'm talking information, and I didn't have to ask your question because you still in my opinion, Derek Chisora, being Derek Chisora with them 8 losses is not compared to Ngunu, who was undefeated. And you don't even know who these guys are. Like, everyone knows who Ngunu is. This guy was dangerous. He was knocking everyone out. These guys, he beat Carlos Molina. Everyone knows who he is. But then when you're talking about Joseph Parker, who basically lost to bloody Ruiz and lost to Joshua.
He beat Ruiz.
Yeah, I understand, but he wasn't even ranked high. He wasn't even ranked, bruv.
I know he's not ranked.
So what I'm trying to say to you, I asked you the question. Who did he beat, to make him number one? And these guys did.
I'll answer the question. Let me answer.
And I asked it for you because it was. I asked it for you. It was Oscar Rivas, and that was it. And there's no thousand.
He was number 1 ranked before Oscar Rivas, though.
Who did he beat then? Who did he beat? You have to beat someone, bro. You can't. See, you thinking in your mind it makes sense, but it doesn't. Boxing, you know how boxing works, Rafi. You know how boxing works? You have to build yourself up, yeah? You have to knock off the contenders before. He ain't knocked no one off, bruh. I'm trying to tell you. This guy's been dodging, nipping and dodging. The guys were Luis Ortiz, Dominic Brazil. Everyone knows this. This is facts.
Dominic Brazil was never number 1.
Why did he fight Dominic Brazil? Dominic Brazil, why didn't he didn't want no parts of Dominic Brazil? He didn't want no part of that old man who's old, who has med whatever. He didn't want no part of Luis Ortiz. Why did I say to him, why you fight these guys? These are the number 1 contender. Fight, knock him off, and you'll get your shot, bruv. That's how it is. And then no more to say, Rafi. I didn't have to, and furthermore, I didn't have to answer your question, right? But you never answered mine. Them guys there on that list was not good enough to be number 1 contender. Let the fighter get some space.
Bro, he's been number 1 since 2017, bro. 2017, brother. 2017. And who did he beat to get there? He beat an accumulation of guys. You know, an accumulation of guys. That's who he beat. It wasn't one guy. You're saying it was Oscar Rivas. And I'm telling you, he was number 1 ranked in the WBC before that for beating an accumulation of guys, bro. Not necessarily WBC guys, but an accumulation of high-ranking, respected guys. Guys like Joseph Parker. He beat him in 2018. He was already ranked number 1 in the WBC before that. So before that, he beat guys like Lucas Brown. He was already ranked number 1 in the WBC before that. He beat guys like Robert Helenius. He'd beaten, previous to that, he'd beaten Derek Chisora for the first time. You know, so it was an accumulation of guys that he beat to get to number 1 in the WBC. Not the number 1 mandatory, but the number 1 ranked. That's what I'm trying to show you, brother. And in comes the man like Fight Doctor. I don't know how he's going to come. Don't know which way he's coming, but he's coming for sure.
Fight Doctor's in the house on Rick James status as always. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening to you, the Fight Doctor.
So having the number 1 ranking in the WBC does not guarantee a title shot.
Let me stop you. Because before we go on to that, we have to talk about, was he number 1 ranked in the WBC for 1,000 days? That's my opening question. Fight Doctor, was Dillian White ranked number 1 in the WBC for 1,000 days? Yay or nay?
I honestly can't answer that question. I don't know. I mean, I put possibly, maybe. There might be some truth to that. I don't know. But
Okay.
what I can say is this, is that when it was time to enforce his mandatory at least on 2 occasions that I know of, at least, something always got in the way, his own fault, that prevented the mandatory from happening. Now, the first time he wasn't able to enforce his mandatory, and I think this is the reason why Brazil got the mandatory shot, was because of some inconsistency. All right, we won't say he popped dirty. We'll say it was because of some inconsistency with his drug test results.
No. Nothing to do with drug tests. The situation as it was at that time was that they set up a fight. Dillian White was talking about, well, I'm number 1. Make me mandatory. I'm number 1. Make me mandatory. When they arranged a fight instead of arranging a fight between the number 1 White, who was number 1 in the ranking at the time, or number 2. Let's say the number 1 was vacant at that time, around the Breezel time. Let's say it was vacant. Then there was no number 1. Then he was number 2, which is effectively number 1. But it's number 2. And then who's number 3? So Breezel then is number 3 at the highest, maybe 4, maybe lower. But White, was ranked ahead of him. Okay, fine. Now, so they arrange a fight between Breezel and what's his name? Was it Molina or Areola? Let me just...
It might have been Areola, but it sounds to me like Breezel was able to leapfrog White for the mandatory position by fighting somebody. But see, look, in order to get the mandatory position, typically, in order to get the mandatory position in the WBC, you must fight somebody. Yeah. All right? It's not the WBC's practice to just award the mandatory position to the guy who happens to be in the number 1 spot. Okay? Now, what can happen is you could be in the number 1 spot, but number 2 and number 3 can fight for the mandatory. And I want to say that's probably what happened in the Dominic Brazil situation. In
the Dominic Brazil situation, I'm just pulling his record up now. Dominic Brazil. Damn, that was his last fight. That was over a year ago. Okay, so that fight took place in January, February, March, April, May. That was May 2019. That fight took place in May 2019. But that's not the point, is it? Because it's the Eric Molina fight. That fight took place in November 2017. Now, that fight, when it was made, the WBC did not openly acknowledge that was for the number 1 mandatory spot. After the fight...
Okay, so wait.
No, let me just finish this. It's going to take 30 seconds.
Okay.
You. Okay, right. So before the fight, there was some murmurings. Is it going to be for the number 1 mandatory? It can't be, because Dillian White Dillian White's number one. And they said there was some back and forth, but it was vague. But they ultimately came out and said, no, it is not for the number one mandatory spot. Then the fight happened, and it was still, people still didn't know. People couldn't get clarity. Is Breezel now number one mandatory or not? Ambiguity. Then one interviewer interviewed Suleiman and said, was that fight for number one mandatory or not? And then Suleiman talked for about 30 seconds, went all around the houses, didn't answer. The guy said, okay, I'll ask again because you didn't answer it. Is that fight for mandatory or not? Is Dominic Brazil mandatory now or not? Once again, Suleiman went around the houses, spoke for around 30 seconds and didn't answer. The interviewer said, okay, fine. You're not going to answer the question, and walked off. So even after that fight, the WBC were not making it clear that was a mandatory position. It was sometime afterwards when they said, the fight between Dominic Breezel and Eric Molina was for the number one mandatory spot. Over to you, Fight Doctor.
Okay, well, there are a couple of things that we have to clarify. First is that you have to understand that ambiguity is the WBC's middle name. And if you don't believe me, just go and read their bylaws. All right. Mm-hmm. It reads like, it's confusing, and that's putting it lightly. All right. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's not a straight paragraph in the whole of the document. The document is about, 15 pages long, maybe, however long it is. But when you're done reading through it, you feel as if you're more dumb than when you began. Okay, that's the first thing we need to understand. The second thing we need to understand is just because there's a difference between being the number one contender in the WBC and being the mandatory for the champion. There's a difference. You can be number one and not be the mandatory. You can be the mandatory and not be the number one. Mm-hmm. Right? So Dillian White spent a lot of time as a number one heavyweight at he spent a lot of time as being the WBC number one heavyweight, but he wasn't the mandatory for Deontay Wilder. All right. So when he becomes mandatory and when it's time to enforce that mandatory, all right, he gets knocked out. And I believe in the previous instance, there was something else that came up. Either it was the failed drug test or he was number one and the WBC offered him an opportunity to fight for the mandatory. He declined. Yeah. And so then they offer that same opportunity to someone else. So again,
that was way after Breezel, though. That was way after Breezel. So they didn't offer it to anybody else. They just said no. I think Tyson Fury was lurking around at that point, around the Oscar Rivas when he fought. When did he fight Oscar Rivas? Well, carry on anyway. Carry on talking. Yeah.
So in any event, however you slice it and dice it, however it ultimately. How it all adds up. It's Dillian White's own fault that he did not get the mandatory shot at the WBC title. It's his fault.
You can say that, right? you can say that, but let's move along to, I'm going to come back to you, but let's move along to Sub Skrilla, who has just joined us. Sub Skrilla.
What's going on, man? You all right?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. It's very active over here. Very active.
Yeah, good to see that. It's good to see that. Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. I don't know what EJ's really disputing because White was ranked number one by the WBC since the Hellenius fight. It was after the Hellenius fight he basically got put into number one position by WBC. Obviously, that doesn't mean, like Fight Doctor saying, being number one doesn't mean you're mandated.
Yeah.
And Fight Doctor's right on a couple of things like. Brazil did get to jump the queue ahead of him, and that was on account of White pulling out of the Ortiz fight the first time because he said, I can make more money elsewhere.
Yes.
He didn't want to fight on an undercard against Ortiz, but Dillian has shot himself in the foot a couple of times. Like he wanted to be mandated against AJ. Remember when AJ offered him a voluntary shot?
Yeah.
And he didn't like the split. He said, I want to be mandated. But then when he got offered a chance to fight Pulev, pulled out of that one as well. So he has shot himself in the foot a couple of times.
We have to be clear. Yeah, what you say is true, but we have to be clear about certain things because I think with the Ortiz thing, that was going to be over in America, I think, and it was something like a 50-50 when it would have been way more lucrative to have Ortiz fight over here and more money, and he didn't like the 50-50, the bigger pull, the bigger draw, fine. And it was something similar with Pulev, or even worse with Pulev, because he was going to have to fight over there in Hungary, in Sofia, and it was a 75-25 split. It was a 75-25 split in favor of Pulev. And of course, with Dillian now making that money that he was making over here, it just didn't make financial sense. So he did pull out things, but you have to be acknowledged that there's financial reasons behind that. Over to you, Subscriller.
And half of it is fair enough. Like if Dillian thinks that's right for his business, that's fair enough. But then you can't complain that other people are getting the mandatory spot ahead of you if you're refusing to fight final eliminators.
Well, I think you can complain.
Like, you can't really argue with that.
Well, no, I think you can complain, and I'll explain why. Because Breezel didn't have to jump through the hoops that Dillian White did. They didn't put those hoops in the way. He didn't have to jump through hoops. Tyson Fury didn't have to jump through hoops. They only had hoops for one person, and that was Dillian White. They could have just easily made the fight anytime.
No. Plenty of people have fought final eliminators, like Stavern. When he was mandated to fight Wilder, he was supposed to fight an eliminator against Povetkin, but Povetkin popped dirty for that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And Brazil would have fought a final eliminator. It was only because of White not knowing what he was doing, because he was pulling out of the fights they mandated him for, that they said, right, Molina's, we'll class that as final eliminator.
Okay, so why didn't they go simple logic would say, well, if they've got Brazil up, if they're considering him for a mandated fight, why don't they put Brazil versus White? Why didn't they make that?
White didn't want that.
Sorry?
White didn't want that. This is what I'm saying. He didn't want the Brazil fight. He didn't want the Ortiz fight. Pulev he didn't want.
On what basis did he not want the Brazil fight?
The same reason he's always gone down. This is what he's done. He's done really well from losing against Joshua for a British title to build him up as a UK pay-per-view, small star, I'd say, is making money. And he's been comfortable to just kind of go through that stage. Because if he rushes to a title shot, loses, he's got to rebuild all that again. And I honestly think that's what he's just been doing. He's been more comfortable just doing his UK pay-per-view shows. And he's built his fortune and he's done well for himself doing that.
Okay, so it's a financial reason.
Which I'm saying is fair enough. If he thinks that's good for his business, fair enough. But you can't then kick and scream that other people are getting mandatory spots ahead of you when you're not fighting eliminators and other people aren't flat out refusing them. Other people aren't saying, no, I don't want to fight that. I don't want to fight in an eliminator.
Yeah, okay, but then who did Ortiz have to go through to get to
Ortiz wasn't mandated. When Ortiz was mandated, he failed the drugs test, and when he later fought Wilder, that was actually a voluntary.
So
that wasn't a mandated fight anyway.
So Dillian White's been going through the gauntlet. He's got Parker on his resume. Who else he got on his resume? Who else has he beat? He's beat Parker. He's beat.
What you've got to understand is some of the guys
Rivas. He's beat Parker. He's beat Oscar Rivas. He's beat Derek Chisora twice. He's beat Lucas Brown, who was champion for a day till he popped dirty. He's beat Robert Hellenius, who beat Kawanaki. So it seems very clear that they've been putting obstacles in his way. And Pulev wasn't even for the WBC; that was for the IBF, I think. Yeah, so he's not in the mix. And you know, people can say, well, he turned this down, but then he's offered Ortiz. According to Matchroom, that he's offered Ortiz contracts that were more suitable in terms of the split. He's offered who else? Breezel. Watch your mic sounds. He's offered Breezel contracts, which Breezel has declined. So he's offered all of these guys. It's about the split. It's been about the split. He's offered all of these guys contracts, which they have declined. It seems very, very clear to me that even when the WBC did make an offer, did put forth a fight, the financial terms were disadvantageous to the clear financial, monetarily wise, and oftentimes ranking wise, the A side, which was White. So other people got easier ways through. Ortiz got easier ways through. Breezel got a gimme. They gave him, what was it, Ariola or whoever.
It was Molina. It was after Molina. They decided he was going to be mandatory.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was due to White again, kind of dicking around.
Yeah, you could say that.
I know what you're saying. I know that after they mandated these fights, White sent an offer to Ortiz, yada yada. But he doesn't get to choose when he fights a final eliminator. That's not how it works. You see what I'm saying? The WBC order that fight, and if you don't take it, like it's going to get passed on.
Do you think the WBC have been protecting Wilder?
Not really, to be honest. To be perfectly honest with you.
Okay, that's cool. No, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just your opinion. You don't think they've been protecting Wilder?
Right, they've mandated the fight. If they've mandated the fight, it's up to him to take it. Because here's what I'm saying: if he had Ortiz, right, when they mandated it, even if it's not for the split he wants, he's then in a position where he could do what he recently did and say, right, I'm mandatory, I want it enforced, I'm going to take you to court if you don't enforce it. He could have done that from like when 2018. He could have been and did that. And the same with Pulev recently. I know that's not WBC, but in the same instance, he could right now be in line for the Joshua fight had he taken that road.
Yeah, but possibly.
In choosing not to, he's pulled the rug from him under his own. He's taken himself out of the driving seat for a couple million pay-per-view shows.
Yeah, but the WBC, as you may know, they pretty much make up the rules as they go along.
Oh, no one's disputing how fruity the WBC's rules are. Like, their rules are as and when they want.
Yeah,
most of the bodies are like that. Like boxing, we all know it is corrupt to an extent. We all know this.
Definitely.
But I'm saying you can put yourself in the driving seat by fighting those mandated fights. If you're paying the sanctioning fees to get, sanctioned by these bodies, then you may as well go through the hoop they put in front of you, because at the end of the day, that's when you get the reward.
Well, Dillian White's done pretty well going his course, going his way. He's put a banana skin in front of himself. He took one too many risks to banana skin in front of himself, and he slipped on it this time. But he's done very, very well going his way, and he's accumulated a resume that's one of the best.
Don't get me wrong, he's done well for himself. I just think he's shot himself in the foot a couple of times.
Yeah, it may have done, but the WBC certainly didn't make things easy for him. And I would go so far.
It's their job to make it easy. It's their job to mandate a fight and say, "Here's your final eliminator."
Well, let me put it a different way.
If you don't want to take it, it's up to you.
They've made things easy for Ortiz. They made things super easy for Breezel.
How did they make things easy for Ortiz?
Well, who did he have to go through?
Ortiz wasn't mandated. When he was mandated, he failed his drug test.
Yeah. So and then he came back, and then what? So the first fight with Wilder was a voluntary, was it not?
But both the fights that he actually had with Wilder, both the fights that took place were voluntary. Neither of them was a mandated fight. The only time he was mandated, that fight didn't happen.
Yeah,
because of him failing the.
So boom, Dillian White has to go through these mandatories. Ortiz gets to the golden nugget without being mandatory, so he gets through as a voluntary. I'm going over to Wild Soul next. Mute yourself for me, Subscriller. Mute yourself for me, please. Thank you. Boom. Okay, it's muted. Right. So Ortiz gets through. Ortiz gets to fight Wilder twice as a voluntary. Brazil, the hoop that he had to get through was, what was it, Ariola? Was Ariola. And Dillian White, his path was not so smooth. Wild Soul.
Yeah, this is my assessment of this situation.
Yeah.
Dillian White, the 1,000 days that you're talking about is irrelevant now. The man was knocked cold on his back, didn't know where he was at, It's over. You can't keep talking about this like it didn't happen. What does it matter if Dillian White was the mandatory 1,000 days ago? It don't matter.
A few days ago.
Yeah, well, a few days ago, 1,000 days, few days. What was that, Saturday night?
Saturday night. Saturday. It's a Saturday.
The guy was put flat on his back and didn't know where the hell he was at. That's the end of that, right? You can't even argue about that stuff. You could talk all of this stuff about him and Wilder, this and that. All I have to say is Wilder catch him with that right hand. And Dillian White is very slow of foot.
He's at
Wilder
3
would
years.
catch him with the right hand.
Wilder had 3
Right.
years to do that.
Whatever. But all I'm saying is, why waste your time with that when you can make a lot more money fighting Ortiz, fighting Tyson Fury? That's the path Wilder chose. And that's what happened. And Dillian White didn't make his case because when he stepped up in competition, he got cold cocked. End the story. He's irrelevant now. He has to redeem himself same way Wilder does.
He had to
Ralphie.
redeem himself. Who's that?
White has to redeem himself the same way Wilder does.
Redeem himself. I don't know if you're talking about redemption. I think we're talking about I'll
redeem himself as a fighter, as the guy that he was before he got put on his back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think we're talking about that so much as talking about pre that. But anyway, the main
pre that is irrelevant.
The main question.
It really is irrelevant. Like, it doesn't really matter now.
It doesn't really matter.
Do you understand it? Do you get it? Do you get it?
We're gonna
come. Do you understand it?
I'm gonna
put it to you like this, and I'm gonna be honest. My guy, Wilder, was the champ for 5 years. He's not the champ no more. I totally get it, and I understand he's no longer the champ.
Yeah,
he got whooped, and he got his belt took from him.
Coming back,
and that's the end of that.
Coming back to that, damn it.
Yes, and White got knocked out cold. Didn't know where the hell he was at.
Oh my God!
Hey, I don't.
Listen, we're moving on and we're going to come to the main topic. We're going to come to the main question. We're moving on and we're going to come to the main question because y'all must have forgot.
Oh, that's cold. That's cold. All right.
It ain't cold.
That's cold. That's cold-blooded, man. I'm trying to make you understand
carry on.
that Dillian White is irrelevant in the heavyweight picture now unless he comes back and defeats Povetkin. He has to swallow that loss and deal with it like a man, and you must do the same, my brother. Please.
I must do this. I must do what?
Let it go. Let it go.
Let it go.
White is out the mix now. White is a done deal.
Let it go. Okay, so I'm gonna go to Fight Doctor because he hasn't really had his turn. Okay, so I don't know. You want to add anything onto that, or do you want us to go to the main meat and potatoes, the Fight Doctor?
Well, the only thing I can add is that Dillian White got knocked flat on his back, and that's that. And he has nobody to blame for not getting his title shot but himself, and maybe Eddie Hearn can share in a little bit of the blame as far as Eddie Hearn being just an overall bad promoter, in my opinion. Okay, or maybe a good promoter but bad businessman. And I think that the way that he has handled Dillian White's career has been bad business, which culminated on what we saw Saturday night with Dillian White flat on his back, just like that. Okay, and I have nothing more to add.
OMG. Pure Madness up in the place tonight. This is going to be an instant classic. I have a feeling this is going to be an instant classic, so I'm not going to make it go too long, but there are things that we have to do, things that we have to get to. And the first thing is first. And we have to get to the main damn question. We have to get to the main damn question. What is the main damn question? Better quality win. Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin. And I'm gonna start with the fight doctor. I'm gonna start with the fight doctor. I already know what you're gonna say, but still. Fight doctor, you know what the question is. Go ahead, bro.
So honestly, well, Wilder proved himself as a credible heavyweight in the first Fury fight. He had Fury down twice. He had him out in the 12th round, essentially. All right. And nobody has manhandled. I won't say manhandled. I'll say nobody has handled Tyson Fury the way that Deontay Wilder did in fight number 1. All right. And nobody has put him down as hard as Wilder did in the 12th round. So now, of course, Wilder didn't win that fight. I saw Wilder get outboxed for, the majority of the fight, but knockdowns do count. And I feel that the draw was a fair decision. So having said that, given where Wilder was in his career at the time that Fury did beat him, and comparing that to where Povetkin was at the time that Joshua beat him, I think it's fair to say that the Tyson Fury win is of a higher quality, because simple fact that Wilder was. I don't know if Wilder was a favorite. Wilder was a favorite going into that fight, if I'm not mistaken.
Which fight?
The rematch.
Wilder.
If Wilder wasn't the favorite, then I know that the odds were at least close.
Yeah.
And you can question Wilder's opposition. That's fine. I got no problem with that. However, Wilder had been a dominant champion up until the time where he met Tyson Fury in the rematch. And you cannot say the same for Povetkin going into the Joshua fight. You can't say that Povetkin had been dominating his opposition, or that he had been dominating the division. You can't say that. So
you can't say that, but you can ask, well, who was Wilder dominating? I mean, if you're fighting easy fights, then of course you're going to be dominant. So I say to you, my response to that is that, well, even though he was dominant over inferior opposition. He was choosing inferior opposition, and he was dominant over inferior opposition.
Well, okay,
so how dominant is that? How dominant is that?
Well, I wouldn't call Luis Ortiz inferior opposition, nor would I call Tyson Fury inferior opposition. Now,
he hadn't fought Tyson yet, though. We're talking about prior to Tyson. Well, no, we're not talking prior to Tyson, because he was in that fight. Okay,
exactly.
Yeah, back to you.
So, and he put up a good fight against Tyson Fury in earning a draw in a fight that realistically could have gone either way.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I thought the draw was fair, but he was a split second from knocking out Tyson Fury. And most refs, if a guy goes down that hard in the 12th round and is down for 4 seconds and not moving, most refs would have waved that fight off. Mm-hmm. Now, Tyson Fury beat the count. That's the fact of the matter, and he got up and earned a draw. So we can't count that fight as a win for Deontay Wilder.
Mm-hmm.
However, I think that given Deontay Wilder's standing at the time that Tyson Fury beat him, compared to what Povetkin's standing was in the heavyweight division. I think that the Tyson Fury, and then you have to look at the manner in which the way that Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder. It was one-sided. All right. And you can't really say the same, even though, Joshua knocked Povetkin out, but it wasn't a one-sided fight. It was a competitive fight. And I don't think that it's fair to say that Povetkin was as highly regarded as Deontay Wilder was at the time Joshua beat him. So
let me ask you this question. Who is the better boxer, in your opinion, between Deontay Wilder and Alexander Povetkin?
Well, that's an easy question to answer. Alexander Povetkin. Okay. No, there's no question in terms of. But now, listen, Rocky Marciano will never be confused for Pernell Whitaker, right? And I'm actually one of Rocky Marciano's biggest critics. I am. However, at the end of the day, he beat the guys he needed to beat. He was losing in the he was losing damn near every fight that he was in. Okay, he was losing against. He was losing against Walcott. He was losing against Charles. He was losing against what's his name? The Mongoose, the old Mongoose.
Archie Moore.
Archie Moore. Okay, but he found a way to win. So and that's essentially Deontay Wilder. All right, he's losing against these guys, but he finds a way to win. With the exception, of course, being the Tyson Fury rematch. So. Yeah, boxing skill counts for a lot, but there's something to be said about a guy who has will, and will can make up for a lack of skill. And when it comes down to it, I'm going to favor the guy who has the mountain of will and maybe, a molehill of skill, as opposed to the guy who has a mountain of skill and a molehill of will.
But Povetkin is the better boxer than Deontay Wilder, though.
Well, there's no question. I mean,
I remind the panel. Of the question. Is the question still there? Yeah. Which is the better quality win? Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin? So that's fine. Is there anything you want to add before we move on to, I think, Sub Skrilla is next? Yeah. Is that your closing sentence then?
Yeah, I think listen, I think Povetkin he's a good fighter, right? But at the end of the day, and he has good boxing skills, there's no question.
Yeah.
And maybe he is a little underrated. I would give him that. However, he is a good fighter he is a good heavyweight in what is one of the weakest heavyweight eras in the history of the division.
And he made it weaker, though. He made it weaker by fighting the weaker opposition. I mean,
I'm talking about Povetkin, though. Povetkin is a good heavyweight in a bad era. So listen, think of it in this regard, right? If you win first place at the Special Olympics, guess what? You're still a retard.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
no.
Hilarious.
Oh, no.
So that's Alexander Povetkin, okay? He's the first place winner at the Special Olympics. So why are we giving this guy all kind of accolades for doing something that a 5-year-old can do, okay? Let's be honest here. Like, this isn't the golden age of heavyweight boxing.
Where is Deontay Wilder in these Olympics? I'm going to move on. I think you made your point very strong and very clear and very well, but I have to move on. There's like 6 people here. Okay, Sub Skrilla and then Wild Soul. Sub Skrilla. Remember the question. Which was the better quality win? Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Fight Doctor. Fury over Wilder all day long. The dominating the fashion of it. I think that shook the world way more than Joshua beating Povetkin. Way more.
Okay.
Way more.
Okay. Let me ask you a question, though. It shook the world way more, and I will agree with you. That is the case. I agree with you there.
However, who is the better boxer? Povetkin or Fury? I mean, or Wilder, Wild Soul.
I would say that.
Hold on. No. Sorry. I meant to say Sub Skrilla. I'll come to you next, Wild Soul. Sorry. Sub Skrilla.
Povetkin's the more polished operator, obviously, better amateur record, all of this. But at the end of the day, Wilder was dominating for as long as he was. Whether you think he's technically, that well-rounded or not, he was dominant. Fury beat both of the longest dominant champions that we saw back to back.
We're talking about
it was the fashion that he beat him. It was the fashion that he beat him in on his own turf. Do you see what I'm saying? I know where you're coming from. I know Povetkin is a more well-rounded fighter, but what you've also got to remember is at the point Joshua fought Povetkin is faded, to be fair. He's still dangerous, don't get me wrong, but he hasn't got the movement that he used to have anywhere near, like the legs and stuff like that. Povetkin isn't the same as he was in kind of 2013, 2014, whereas Wilder, love him or hate him, whether you think he's that well-rounded or not, is in his prime. Is in his prime when Fury fought him in his backyard, and in the fashion that he beat him, I put that over a win over Povetkin. Because I don't think that really shocked anyone, him beating Povetkin. Povetkin gave him a good fight, and Povetkin's a skilled operator, but Fury over Wilder in his backyard in the fashion that he beat him is a better quality win, and I'm out with that.
Okay, peace out. And that was Sub Skrilla. Okay, so over to Wild Soul.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Just about everybody Wilder fought was a better boxer than Wilder. But that don't matter because Wilder finds a way to land the right hand and puts the lights out. And we've seen it over and over again. Right?
Yeah.
Haven't we? Have we or have we not?
Yes, we have.
Yes, with the exception of
there's only one. Tyson Fury.
Yeah, but that's not your guy, so don't do that too loud. You got a global audience. Don't do that too loud. You here for Dillian White tonight.
Carry on.
And I understand it, whatever. But the fact is that, the answer is absolutely Povetkin's a better boxer, technically.
Yeah.
But that doesn't really matter in terms of Wilder because I believe Wilder would have got him out of there as well. Because of the simple fact is Wilder's Povetkin.
Well, why didn't he fight Povetkin the second? But anyway, okay. Don't
we don't need to get into that. The drug thing, whatever, however you feel about it, Wilder went to Russia and he came up. Povetkin came up short with the dirty drug test. So he's, Wilder's the better fighter as far as him being more athletic and a bigger puncher. And you can't forget about.
Are you telling me that
what is Wilder 6'7"? Wilder's 6'7" as well, right? You can't forget about that.
Are you saying to me that you think Wilder is a better boxer than Povetkin?
I didn't say that. I said a better fighter. You understand the difference between a boxer and a fighter? Wilder's a fighter, right? Right or wrong? He is not the best boxer.
Okay.
Something made him heavyweight champ. That's the fact that he can fight.
Do you think that Wilder would beat Povetkin?
Absolutely. I think he'll knock Povetkin smooth out. Same way he would your boy Dillian White.
No, you're trolling. Now I know
I'm not trolling. Come on, man. You just seen your boy get hit with an uppercut. And didn't know where he was at. Needed help from the ref.
I needed a ref.
Came back. He had to come back the next day to talk about the fight. It took him a whole day to wake up. You know it's true, Rafi. Come on, man.
No, man, you're just trolling. You're just trolling. But
I'm not trolling at all.
in comes. Where did Phil go? Phil, you was next. Where did Phil go? Phil was next, but in comes. Phil jumped back in, but in comes the man like EJ.
Listen, you get referee. I'm watching this show has been entertaining. It's actually backfired on you. You know that. Like everyone's
Backfired on me.
It's backfired on you.
Tell me how it backfired, bro.
Hey, bro, like you listen. You come out here to the propaganda. You try to put on Wilder. So let me ask you the question. Yeah.
How did it backfire? How did it backfire?
Watch it in the replay. You've been getting roasted. My man just roasted you there. And he wasn't trolling. What he's telling is exactly the truth. When Wilder would have smooth knocked him out. And what are you talking about boxing and fighting? See, this is boxing, and you know this guy knows boxing IQ. There's a guy who's a good boxer and there's a fighter. And if you got to understand about fighting and boxing, you can always change the fighter into a boxer, but changing the boxer into a fighter is a different thing. Fury's a boxer. Wilder is a fighter. Wilder comes to knock you out. If your boxer just comes to outpoint you, if he knocks you out, fine. But Fury became the fighter in that second fight. But let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
The question is, which was the better win? Well, let's put it like this. And then
that's the question.
You said which was the better win between
that's the question. The question is which was the better quality win?
Yes,
Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin?
Yes, exactly. Obviously, Joshua over Povetkin. Joshua over Povetkin or who?
Joshua over Povetkin or Fury over Wilder?
Oh shit! Oh, that's a good one. That's actually quite hard because you got to look at it like this, right? You see the thing coming into that fight, yeah, he only lost to one guy that was Vladimir Klitschko, you know.
Two guys.
Who?
Oh, sorry, one guy. You're right.
I know I'm right. I know my boxing. So you have to help me. You have to check box trick. I don't need to. So coming into that fight, yeah.
You still wrong.
I'm saying, and your man Phil in the chat, Phil Carlos thing. I asked you to come in, the Welsh Dragon over there. You didn't want to come in.
It ain't gotta be no. It ain't gotta be like that. It ain't gotta be like that.
He called me out like so. Like I calling him out, but when you're ready,
it ain't gotta be like that.
Anyway, let me finish. Let me ask you. Now. I have to be fair now, all right? I have to be fair. The quality win. Now you have to look at the body of work of Povetkin. He only lost to Vladimir Klitschko. There was obviously some drugs things he was involved in. He didn't fight Wilder, right? We understand that for the drugs thing, but at the time when he was the resume and he was a former world champ, I have to say AJ over Povetkin. Real talk. I'm not even gonna be funny about it. Like I have to be sure because if it was another thing, it was after that, after he lost to AJ, I'd have said yeah. Then you say thing, but you have to be fair. Like Wilder resume doesn't, and Rafi knows this. He did Rafi dots and trick questions. It doesn't matter up to what Povetkin's done. And I mean, he's got former world champions on his resume, WBA champion. Not as obviously people talk about amateur. I'm not talking amateurs. Purely as a pro. You know what I mean? That's the level of competition he's fought and the knockouts are thus far. So Povetkin, to be fair, but like I said to you, at the end of the day, if Wilder would have met him, like my man said, yeah, is it Skrilla? Is that his name?
Skrilla.
Yeah, he's a G, bro. Wilder would have knocked him smooth out, bro, like 100%. But to answer your question, it would be Povetkin. So, hey, listen, Matt Rafi, it's been a very entertaining show. Big up to everyone in the chat. Hey, listen, you guys are always welcome, bro, on EJ's channel, and I always come up with Rafi's channel to add in. And anything I can say, I can back up in terms of the mancheries and all them things there. It'll bring the debate. But let me tell you something, yeah. Pound for pound, understand that Wilder was that guy. You have to give him respect. Dillian White didn't want that smoke, and that's where he is. I'm out here. Peace.
Well, at least EJ, I disagree with you, man. You was wrong on the mandatory stuff, the whole number one thing. You was wrong on all of that. But you are very knowledgeable, and EJ is my bro. But you don't always agree with your bro. So that's just that. Yeah, so we still got Subscrilla, you jump back in. Subscrilla, you jump back in. You're on mute. Subscrilla, you're on mute. Oh, maybe Subscrilla
My bad, mate. My bad, mate. I didn't realise.
Okay. So Subscrilla is back in, but we've pretty much wrapped it up. So what was the count? All the Americans, where are my Americans? All the Americans jumped out. But thank you to all my American brethren for coming in here. Thank you for all the guys who hit me up with the super chat. Thank you for everybody in here who we ain't done yet, so don't go running off. We ain't done. We ain't finished. Damn, Subscrilla is gone. So we ain't done yet. I'm just saying some things that I don't want to forget to say. Thank you to all my guys who hit that like button, to all the guys and gals who have hit that subscribe button. But one thing we got to get up is the sharing. I know I checked the statistics, checked the ballistics. I know some of you guys have started sharing, but we're really behind with the shares. We're nowhere near the targets, the percentage targets that I want to reach. So that's one area where we're kind of falling down a little bit. We're kind of falling down a little bit. We got to get the sharing up. And the only way we can do that is for me to let you know that we got to get the sharing up. I'm doing my part. I'm holding my end up. I'm sharing like a madman. I hope you will join me and join in the sharing gang. I know that James Jameson is up to sharing. I know a couple of other guys have started sharing here and there. So I appreciate that. And what I'm saying is if we can up that. So if you know you're lagging in the sharing department, if you don't know how to share, just hit the share button. And let's get the word out here, because we need to continue the continuous growth. We need to continue the continuous growth. Okay, I know it got Rafi knows how to ruffle and feathers. Yes. Where we at? I hope everybody who, hey, I was kicked out. You what? You was kicked out. Hey, I was kicked out. How the hell were you kicked out? You kicked yourself out. Here's the link. Copy. Oh, there's the link there. Boom. Paste. Yeah, man. There ain't nobody kicked out unless I accidentally hit a button, but it certainly wasn't deliberately. There's the link. Jump back in. I thought you went abruptly. Jump back in. Where are we? You can change a fighter into a boxer. What happened with Wilder's 40th fight? Still not a good boxer. OMG. It's all in good spirit. It's all in good spirit. So let me do the count. I'm not debating AJ has a better resume. He does. Let me do the count. I think, who do we have? We had Wild Soul. Let's get to the question anyway. What was the better quality win? Fury over Wilder. Oh, there we are. Boom. Wild Soul's back. Who was the better quality win? Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin? And I think the count is Wild Soul said Fury over Wilder. The fight doctor, I'm coming to you in a second. Wild Soul, the fight doctor said Fury over Wilder. Who else was there? Subscrilla said Fury over Wilder. EJ Boxing said Joshua over Povetkin. And so it's my turn. Joshua over Povetkin. Fury over Wilder. Let's look at Fury over Wilder first of all. Now, Fury beating Wilder the second time around was the better boxer against the better puncher. I don't even know if he's a better fighter. I don't know. He's a better puncher. Wilder, I don't see him as a boxer or a fighter. I see him as a guy with a big right hand. And so Fury managed to navigate the big right hand. He figured out how to do it in the 12th round of the second half of the 12th round of the first fight. Go and watch that 12th round. Go and watch that 12th round again, people. And you will see that Fury figured it out. Fury figured out when he was aggressive and put Wilder on the back foot. Wilder was like a fish out of water. Not even a duck out of water, because a duck can function out of water, but a fish cannot. So Wilder figured out when he puts the pressure, Fury figured out when he puts pressure on Wilder and gets him on the back foot, He's like a fish out of water. So what was so good about that win? Well, people can say, well, Wilder was a champion 5 years, but who was he beating for 5 years? He was taking soft touches. Great show. Thanks, EJ and Rafi. Excellente. So what was so impressive about Wilder's reign? What was so impressive about Wilder's reign? It wasn't. The best thing he did before Fury was beat what do you call him? Luis Ortiz. I'll give him that. I'm not going to begrudge him that. Luis Ortiz, the Cuban, the left-hander, tricky customer. So I'll give him that. So he beat Ortiz. That's one name on his resume. He beat Ortiz. And so what can I give him that? Can I give Fury? How much can I give Fury for beating Wilder? A guy that people wanted to get to, a guy that Dillian White wanted to get to, a guy that Anthony Joshua wanted to get to. But man like Shelly Finkel, Al Heyman, Steven Espinosa, he wanted to keep those guys away because he knew that they could have put him clean out of there, knocked him into orbit. They could knock him into such a high orbit, he'd just be circling the globe. So no, I can't give Fury too much for that. I give him credit for that, but I can't say that. Now we have to go over and look at Povetkin, ex-Olympic gold medalist, has been a professional at the highest ranks. Well, been a professional for 15 years, gold medalist, brings that gold medal pedigree. A professional for 15 years, and the only people he has lost to are Vladimir Klitschko. And when you go back and watch that fight, you can say, well, what if Vladimir Klitschko had fought clean? He could have got knocked clean out, because anybody who's watched that fight knows that Klitschko was cheating in every single round. One of the dirtiest fights you'll ever see at heavyweight. Klitschko just dragging the man's head down, literally dragged him down to the canvas at one point. Punch, and grab. Klitschko seemed to be in desperation mode the whole damn fight. Okay, so he gets a dirty win over Povetkin. And then who else beat him? Only one other man. Only one other man beat him. And that was none other than your unified heavyweight two-time champion, Anthony Joshua. But how did Anthony Joshua beat him? Remember, we know how Klitschko beat him. We know Klitschko beat him by fouling him, by grabbing the back of his head, pulling him down to the canvas every round. But how did Joshua beat him? Joshua beat him by knocking him smooth out. Knocked him smooth out. He was staggering, stumbling around the ring. We've never seen that from Povetkin. Seasoned Olympic gold medalist, 15-year veteran, only being beaten by unified champions. So, my dear friends, countrymen, worldwide citizens, my dear friends, the link is no longer in the chat. Okay. Yeah, it's clear, and it's obvious. Which is the better quality win? Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin? I'm afraid that Povetkin reigns all over. Povetkin's resume reigns all over, and skill and pedigree reigns all over Wilder. It's not even close. Joshua over Povetkin is the answer. Joshua over Povetkin, that is the answer. There's no doubt about it in my mind, but the vote goes to the Americans and Sub Skrilla. That's 3-2. That's them. But what do you say in the chat? You put your opinions in the chat. If you think it's Fury over Wilder, then write Fury. If you think it's Joshua over Povetkin, then write Joshua. If you could do that now, please. It's time to go to the count. Put
put your opinions in. And Wild Soul, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts right about now?
Yeah, I mean, you made some good points in the favor of Povetkin, but Povetkin was not the reigning champ for 5 years. We had 10 title defenses.
What? Say again? Say that again.
Povetkin was not the champ for 5 years.
Yeah.
And did not have 10 title defenses.
That is true. That is
right.
true.
So that's what Wilder did. No matter who you say his opponents were, he did that. He accomplished that. So that's a Hall of Fame career that you can't interfere with, no matter how you feel about it. You can
Hall of Fame? Hall of Fame? Hall of Fame?
Yes, sir.
What?
Yes, sir.
Who the hell are the Hall of Fame fighters that he beat?
It's not about the Hall of Fame fighters. I said Hall of Fame career.
Well, to have a Hall of Fame career, don't you need to beat the Hall of Fame fighter?
No, it's about statistics, my brother.
Hey, bro.
It's about the numbers. It's about the numbers. The numbers matter.
Don't be a statistic and don't be a number. I'm asking you the question.
The numbers matter, and I'm being clear on this.
I'm
gonna hold my ground on that. The numbers matter.
You're gonna stand on your square?
5 years as the WBC heavyweight champ of the world.
Who he beat?
10 title defenses.
Who he beat?
Luis Ortiz.
Who else? Give me one more name.
And he should have beat Tyson Fury the first fight. But like your man said, he got cheated because the guy was knocked out for 4 seconds. Clear. They knocked out. So the fight doctor don't have to. The fight doctor says that Fury won the first fight, but he's happy with the draw. He didn't say he won. He said he outboxed him. He's happy with the draw. Me, I think that Tyson Fury was out cold. And like he said, most people would have stopped that fight. Most refs would have stopped it. The minute his eyes went shut the way they did. For 4 seconds, I've seen plenty of fights where guys went down in a similar fashion and the ref waved it off. Eyes shut, rolling to the back of his head. Fury did something miraculous, got up and fought back, but I believe he still got knocked out in that fight. So, yeah, I think that the fight that Fury had with Wilder was much more significant than what Joshua had with Povetkin.
He votes in people. Remember, I'm doing a count on the panel here is 3-2, but we're gonna go to the chat. Yeah, carry on, Wild Soul.
Oh yes, and I see the fight doctor's back in the building. Peace and blessings, fight doctor.
The fight doctor's back up in the building.
Right. So what I have to say, and I'm gonna close it out.
Yeah.
That I really believe that Wilder, you try to discount him, you write him off like he's a nobody or whatever the case may be. But you really never seen nobody punch like that. And you know that if Dillian White was in the ring with Wilder, he would have ended up the same way he did, on his back, looking up at the lights. Or whatever he was looking up at, I wasn't sure. He's not even sure. He don't even remember what he was looking at. He don't even remember the fight.
If that were true, they would have taken the fight. But Shelley Finkel didn't want it. Al Heyman didn't want it.
That's what you claim.
No. Look at the statistics. You don't see Dillian White's name.
What are you talking about?
You don't see Dillian White's name up there on Wilder's hit list because he didn't want it. Because the punch.
Man, somebody's scared of slow ass Dillian White.
Well, you look on Deontay Wilder's resume and you don't see Dillian White's name on there. And would he not want that scalp if he were confident? Of course he would. And at that time, remember, that would have been.
Why would he want that when there's much bigger fights out there.
No, not at all. Because at that time, that would have been Deontay Wilder's biggest fight, biggest purse-wise.
Oh, please.
And he turned it down. He turned it down. So everything
Please.
points to a duck. Everything points to Deontay Wilder.
No, it's no duck.
It's clear as day. It's clear as day.
You know who should have ducked in the other direction and not leaned into that uppercut?
Yeah,
Dillian White.
Don't take it away.
Dillian White should have moved to his left instead of into that uppercut.
You don't detract from the fact that his name is not on Deontay Wilder's resume. And why would that not be the case unless it was a clear duck? The fight doctor.
Please.
The fight doctor.
Yeah, so, trying to accuse Deontay Wilder of ducking Dillian White, that's felonious, to be completely honest with you, okay? That there's no grounds on which to base that at all, none, because it just didn't happen that way. Fact of the matter is, if anything, I think there's more of an argument that Dillian White ducked Deontay Wilder by not following through on whatever it is he needed to follow through on in order to get the fight made. All right, so he refused to comply with the WBC's mandate or rules or whatever malarkey that they were talking in. Yeah, I mean, so if you want to accuse the WBC of being full of, a certain particular four-letter word that I won't repeat, then I will agree wholeheartedly. However, listen, if you're going to dance with the devil, then don't be upset when he changes the tune to a song that you don't like. You chose to dance with the devil. So, deal with it.
Get your votes in, folks, because we're going to go for the tot up at the end of this. So, carry on, Fight Doctor, but get your votes in, folks. Remember the question. If you think that Fury's win over Wilder was better than Joshua's win over Povetkin, then write Fury. If you think Joshua's win over Povetkin was better than Fury's win over Wilder, then write Joshua. So the answers are either Fury was the better win or Joshua was the better win. So get your votes in because we're going to go to tally directly after the fight doctor. Fight doctor, back to you.
Yeah, so all this talk about Deontay Wilder ducking Dillian White, I mean, come on, man. Honestly, why would Deontay Wilder find the need to duck a guy who just got knocked out by a 40-year-old slow flat-footed heavyweight?
No.
41 years old.
No, because that's just a recent event. Deontay Wilder the only person Deontay Wilder saw knock out Dillian White was Anthony Joshua. So we can't speak about what's happening.
Well, then I retract my previous statement and I will put forth this argument. Yeah. Why would Deontay Wilder need to duck Anthony Joshua's sloppy seconds, his leftovers?
Well,
real talk. A guy that already been knocked out by a guy who you're trying to get in the ring, but who's afraid to get in the ring with you. I mean, seriously.
Okay, so effectively, because the second part of the show where we're talking about the weekend's upcoming fights, I'm just going to cover that very briefly after this, but we're going to go into that tomorrow lunchtime because then the show's gonna run too long, and this has been a classic, so I don't want to make it run too long and people miss out on the classic sections. So this is ultimately it. We've heard from everybody.
Oh, this is just one last thing. One point I forgot to stress, or one thing I forgot to say was peace and blessings to the wild soul. Peace, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace, Fight Doctor.
What about peace and blessings to me?
Oh, brother,
that's contingent upon how this ends. I'm just joking, man. Yeah. Well, we ain't saying peace yet, though.
What
it's
about
not the end of the night.
Blessings? I want peace and blessings.
Yeah, I want that for you too, but the night is not over yet, though. You didn't conclude, so I'm gonna I'm not gonna give you the peace and blessings until until it's over, till the night is over.
Okay, so we everybody's had their turn. Everybody's had their say. Everybody's had their say.
No, but I'm not finished.
No, hold on. No, we go into the chat now to get their count, because we got the count off the and let's not get it twisted. When I pose a question, because EJ said, Rafi, you're getting battered, you're gonna lose. No, when I pose a question, I can't lose because I posed a good question. Do you know what I'm saying? So you pose a good question, you can't lose. It's a great question. Which is the better quality win? Fury over Wilder or Joshua over Povetkin? Nobody hasn't seen that question anywhere before. So I've basically done a show and posed a question that have got people scratching their heads to say that's a great question. So if you ask a great question and if you design a show around a great question, then how can you lose? It doesn't matter what the outcome is. It doesn't matter what the panelists say. It's a great question that was posed, and it was exposed and shared with the general public, with the Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio crew and beyond. So how can you lose when you do that? Just because the panel goes one way and I go another? Is that losing? Is that really losing? No. You lose if you don't have a good debate. If you have a debate, then how can you lose? The purpose of the question is to stimulate debate. Do I really have to explain that to anybody? So if you have a good debate, then how can you lose? I'm not of that school, my friend. I'm not of that school to think that you have a debate and you've lost. No. Losing is not having a good debate. Winning is having a good debate. Did we not have a good debate in here tonight?
I think we had a most excellent debate.
We had an excellent debate. So then how the hell could I lose? Nobody loses. Everybody wins. You have an excellent debate. Everybody wins. That's just my point of view. Am I crazy? I don't know, but that's how I feel about it. But anyway, let's get to the tally.
I don't know. I think we should debate that question.
Let's get to
That's a good idea.
Let's get to the tally. Where are we? I'm going to find the first answer. Who was the first person to answer? The debate is so good. Everybody's talking about multiple different strands. Okay, so here's the first answer. I think there was an answer before AJ over Povetkin. AJ Povetkin. That's one for AJ. I said AJ. Yeah, and I am Canadian. So that's AJ. That's two. That's three. That's three. Still looking. That's four. Wilder over Springsteen. That's four. Where are we? I know the watcher would have said, I know the watcher would say Wilder, so that's 4-1. Wilder. Where are we? I'm trying to get through this. Trying to pick out. I may have missed something. That's 5-1. 5-1. That's okay. So scrolling down, 5-1. I'm looking for anybody else. Oh, hold on. Nicole Beatty. That's 5-2. Nicole Beatty up in the building. Yeah, I've already counted you because I knew you was going to say that. So that's 5. What is that? 5-2. That's 5-2. Still looking. Are you not entertained? What's this? AJ got battered by a pig. Who was the pig? Anyway, this guy came in. Who was the pig? Anyway, I'm still trying to count. Okay, so that's 5. What is it? 5-2 or 5-3? Let's say it's 5-3. Let's say it was 5-3. Okay, so on the panel it was 3-2 in favor of Fury having the best win. And that's 3-2 in favor of Fury. And in the chat, it was 5-3 in favor of Joshua. So
That's about even.
Well, yeah. It's a split. But you know, the main thing was that we had a great debate here tonight. It was most entertaining, highly entertaining. This one is an instant classic. I think I'm gonna have
But
to.
I just wanted to say one thing, Rafi.
Yeah, well, it's final words now. It's final words. So
Okay.
sorry, folks.
Okay.
We haven't got into the second half of the show, but the first half of the show was so nice that we couldn't go beyond that. But I promise you, I'll come back. I'll try to do this thing. I think I got a couple of hours at lunchtime tomorrow. I'll try to do this thing. I promise you, I'll get this. The second half of the show, we're going to do that tomorrow sometime around the lunchtime period. I'd like to say I'm going to go to everybody for their final words, but I'd like to say thank you to everybody who hit me up, who came in here. Thank you to everybody who hit the like button. Thank you to idiots. Wait till Fury punches idiots. You're a bit cheeky, dude. Mr. T guy here. Let me just, where are you, T? Yeah, you got no manners, my friend. We can come in here, we debate, but you know, you can do so with a certain level of respectability. You don't have to be so aggressive and so irate. Those things are not marvelous in the righteous one's sight. And I'm not going to tell you who the righteous one is. I'm going to leave that to your imagination. So thank you to everybody who came in. Thank you to everybody who hit the like button. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Thank you to everybody who has shared. I'm not going to ban you, but keep your mouth. Watch your mouth, though. You understand? Watch your mouth, though. You get one more chance. You're coming here with a spirit of aggression and I don't know. Some kind of demon spirit. You know what I'm saying? The Rafi don't like that. You know, I gotta know how to conduct yourself. You can disagree as much as you want to disagree. You can even get angry, but I don't know. There's something wrong with your spirit, my friend. There's something wrong with your spirit. You ain't living right. You ain't moving right. I can feel it. I can tell. So yeah. So thank you to everybody who did all of those things, and thank you especially to everybody who makes it a point to get over here whenever they can. Because you are the backbone of the show. Otherwise, it'd just be me talking to myself, talking into a microphone. You know what I'm saying? And especially on top of that, again, especially everybody who hit that super chat button. Like I say all the time, it ain't got to be much. I mean, it can be for as little as the price of a cup of tea. That's £1. That's €1. That's $1. If you really want to splurge, you can make it a cup of coffee. That's £2, €2. $2. And if you want to go the extra mile, then boom. You know what I'm saying? Make the thing go green or orange or red and boom. You know what I'm saying? When you provide the people with good quality content, you know, they're going to show their appreciation. Like I said, it ain't got to be much. Just let me know you like it. Just for the price of a cup of tea, just let me know you like it. Anything above and beyond that is all gravy. It's all gravy. It's all cherry on the cake. And Freddie Mars jumps in with the super chat crew. So who have been the super chat providers today? Who's on that list? It was the James Jameson. I know I'm going to forget somebody. It was the Fight Doctor. It was the Wild Soul. I'm probably going to forget two people. I'll come back to that. I'm going to go in my analytics and it'll tell me, hopefully. Damn, Freddie Mars. Damn. And everybody else who did it. So it is a much appreciation. You need to. Didn't I time you out? Didn't I just time this cat out? Where are you? Is there two of you? Oh, I was thinking about getting rid of you, and I changed our mind. But there you go. Boom. The timeout. It's come back with a better spirit next time. Cole. Okay, so. Yeah, so we going over to the Wild Soul for your final words. Then we're going to go over to the Fight Doctor for final words, and then we're going to be outie. The Fight Doctor, Wild Soul, thanks for jumping on, my friend. It's good to have different perspectives, and nobody loses if we have a good debate.
Yeah, it was a great debate, a great show. I appreciate it. But I also wanted to speak to this because I seen some of those posts your
in the chat,
right? And I seen a few of those, and some of them were laughing at the fact that I said Wilder had a Hall of Fame record. You can laugh all you want, but there hasn't been many guys who had the title for 5 years.
Who's the Hall of
Fame? 10 title defenses. That's a short list.
Who's the Hall of Famer on his resume?
Tyson Fury.
That's not sorry. Which Hall of Famer did he beat?
Tyson Fury.
Okay. If you want to say that,
in
then
my opinion,
you're living in a parallel universe.
Officially, it was a draw. Okay, I give you that, right? But we dealing with Hall of Fame fighters that he fought. I believe Tyson Fury would be one.
Yeah.
Okay. You asked me that, and I gave you that.
And he lost, but it's okay. I hear what you're saying. You're saying that he lost to a Hall of Famer. But it don't count.
Yeah, but he beat him the first time by knockout, and that's where I carry it.
You could look at it that way.
Right. Yeah, and that's where I'm going with it.
Mm-hmm.
But peace and blessings to you, Rafi.
Yes,
it's been a good time. I really enjoyed it.
100%.
Great debate and everything, and peace and blessings to the chat as well.
Absolutely.
And peace and blessings to the Fight Doctor. Yes. Good evening, gentlemen.
Take care. That was Wild Soul. Wild Soul. Sir. Always good to get the Wild Soul up in here.
Thank you.
100%. And then there were two. The Fight Doctor. The final word.
I just want to echo the sentiments of the Wild Soul. Peace and blessings to you, brother. Peace and blessings to the Raphael Dawkins, and peace and blessings to the chat.
Okay, 100%. Those are your final words. No more.
So, I want to leave you with this.
Yeah,
and this is going out to the Dillian White fans. And just remember this important lesson, right? And to repeat what I said earlier, just because you win first place in the Special Olympics, well, guess what? You're still a retard. So don't go bragging. Don't go bragging. And I'll leave you with that, gentlemen.
Excellent. That was the Fight Doctor. Excellent to have the Fight Doctor on over here. Always good to get different perspectives. Do I agree with most of what they say? Hell to the no. But it don't matter. It's all about opinions. It's good to have people who are prepared to come on and share their perspective. So much appreciation. Peace and blessings to the Wild Soul. Peace and blessings to the Fight Doctor. Peace and blessings to EJ. EJ Boxing was up in here, and we had a very lively debate. I think that's definitely one that people are going to want to listen back to. A hell of a debate. Hell of a interesting. Fury ate a goat curried. OMG. And I haven't been able to get to the second half of the show, but we're going to do that tomorrow lunchtime. I promise you. It's been a good one. It's been a great one. It's been an instant classic. No doubt about it. Peace, Rafi. Peace, chat. OMG. Excellente. We've had a great time. Because my opinion is different to yours. No, I think you might be a troll, Mr. T. Not Mr. T. I know Mr. T. Mr. T's good people. You, on the other hand, T. I don't know. I don't know about you. I don't know about you. I got my doubts about you. But we'll see. We'll see over the course of time. Okay, it's been a fantastic one. I don't want to keep people up. It's late over here in the UK. It's been a great one. Thank you very much. Thank you, Philip Carl Roberts, for your assistance. Always coming with a good, with some goods. Coming with the goods. Coming with the goods. Whether we agree or disagree. But like I say, I appreciate people's opinions, and I appreciate people who take the time out of their day to jump on. Yeah, I'm trying not to increase the police. I'm trying not to increase the police over here. That's like a temporary sheriff. Philip was a sheriff. Okay, so it's been a good one. It's been a great one. Thank you to everybody. I mean, you know what I'm like. I'm breaking up and saying goodbye is not my forte. It takes me forever. Somebody once said, Raf, your outros are longer than most people's videos. I know that, and I understand that. But I'm trying to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger and say goodbye. Okay. See you tomorrow. Much appreciation to everybody who jumped on the chat. It was the Fight Doctor, the Wild Soul, the Subskrilla, the EJ Boxing, the Phil Walker. He had to jump off. But until next time, tomorrow lunchtime, it's a peace out from me over here in the UK. The last thing, all I can say to you is